Alrighty, what's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. All right, let me see if I can get this set up and running. What happened to Zoom? Man, I'll tell you what happened to Zoom. If it wasn't for my kids using Zoom for school, I would get rid of Zoom altogether. What happened with, like, I'm trying to do markups. Speaking of which, let me pull up my little annotate tool. I'm trying to do markups, and it just isn't allowing me to do anything. Like, it's skipping, it's doing all kinds of stupid stuff. And you know, I do Zoom calls every now and then. So today I was doing a couple of Zoom calls, and I was just getting frustrated with trying to do what I wanted to do on Zoom, you know, annotate stuff like that, and just not letting me. So I'm not going to play that game with it today. So we'll just do it on YouTube. It's easier. It's so much that way I don't have to record it. I don't have to upload it. I don't have to do all that stuff. So hopefully everything's in 1080p, right? Can you guys, is the stream good? Putin for the dub. Dude, I'll tell you what, man. Zoom, please. What do you mean Zoom, please? I can't Zoom. I mean, we can either do it on YouTube, or I don't do it. I'm not going to fight Zoom. Zoom was up and down, losing connection for me today, so I'm not going to deal with it. But you can Zoom if you want. Throw your Zoom link in there. I'm sure some people will jump in there. Hold on, give me one sec. Let me just go and pull out my annotate tool. Anyway, happy Tuesday. How's everybody doing? Let me get into this here. Let's see. Is it realistic to try to pass in one day? So I guess the question is, why do you want to pass in one day? You know, for me, I mean, can you? Sure. I mean, you can theoretically. If you have like a 1%, think about it, 1% risk on a 1 to 10 gets you 10%, right? 0.5% risk on a 1 to 20 gets you 10%. You know, so you can absolutely, you know, it's 720. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I've got it up as I mean, it's boosted up as much as it can go. So I'm recording it just in case the stream is like crap. I'll upload it back up in 1080p. So bear with me. Let me just open up my little annotate tool. There we go. Alrighty. Let's get over here to FOREX Factory. Volume is low. Hold on. How about that? Volume better? Let me know if the volume's better. Okay. Yeah. Well, it's doing the 60 frames per second. Yeah. The stream is not clear. I don't know. Is it clear on you guys? Yeah. 1080p. Yeah, man. Redo your stream if it's not clear for you, because it's on my end. Here, hold on. Let's see. Let's see what it's showing on my end. Growing pains, man. Growing pains. I gotta find something other than Zoom, bro, because Zoom is like testing every last patience of mine. So hold on. Let me just mute that, and let's just see what it's broadcasting in. Oh yeah, it's doing it in 720. 720 at 60 frames per second. All right. I mean, that's still whatever. It is what it is. Let me see. Can I bump it up? Let's see. Output. You know what I think the problem is? So, yeah, whatever. I'll screw around with it later, because I've got it. My base resolution is 1920 by 1080, and the output scaled resolution is 2080 by 720. That's what it is. So I would have to. Yeah, I'll screw around with it later. I'll up it back up to 1080. That's all it is. So no worries. All right. Let's see. Yeah, you're good. 1080 sounds good. Awesome. Yeah. I gotta let my fiber work. Am I the only one thinking, is volume really low? I can bump it up some more. I don't know. Like I'm in the red on my microphone. It's tapping up into the red. Yeah, awesome. All right. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. All right, let's jump into it, man. Let's jump into it. So we got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of news coming out. I'm actually excited for the next 45 minutes because I want to see what the hell the Kiwi's going to do, right? So a couple of things we'll, whatever. We'll just do it like I normally run it. I'm actually, okay, good. Yeah. I'm actually looking for some really decent movements, right? You know what I'm going to do is this. Hold on. Bear with me 1 second. Let me run this over here. So I kind of rearranged my monitors and I've kind of got like, let me do this. Bam. All right. Yeah. And there we go. All right, cool. Where is this silly thing? There we go. That's my little drawing tool over there. There we go. So let's see. Good. Awesome. Yeah. Can we? Yeah. We can look at EA too. I'm more interested in EN for right now, but yeah. We'll dive into it. So real quick, in a nutshell, I'm looking at a couple of things for this week, right? Continuation. I'm looking for US dollar strength still, right? Because we haven't seen anything that doesn't give us the strength. I'm looking, so, UCAD, well, UCAD's not on my top list. UCAD would be like my third list, but I'm looking at UJ, USHF to go bullish. And I'm looking, GU, NU, EU, and AU to kind of head south. And then I've got a couple of Canadian dollars that I'm looking at as well, right? So I'm going to focus on what we, with that in mind. Would I consider getting magic keys? I don't need magic keys, right? To trade with, you're talking about. I really don't need it. I mean, I'm pretty happy with. Yeah, I honestly I don't need a little key, a hotkey that I can make go to break even. I don't need one that I can do to take partials and stuff. You can set up that on your keyboard, depending on the kind of keyboard you have. Like this one right here over to the right, the one that's attached to my gaming computer. I've got an entire row. It's on the left-hand side. It's E1 through E8, E1 through E8. Right. So I can, if you needed to, I can just make those hotkeys on MT5. But yeah, no, I just use that position size calculator that's embedded into MT5 that I use. And that gives me everything that I would really need to use. So magic keys don't work on Mac OS. Yeah, but I'm sure you can run something. You can run a script or something like that to bypass it. So anyway, let's dive into it. So news wise, right? This is obviously what's going to pique my interest for tonight. I want to see what the heck they're going to do. And if you already paid attention and looked at some of the articles that's being released, you can see that they were at 0.7%, right? They're actually pricing in already. The market's already pricing in a 0.25% basis point increase. So we potentially could see some volatility if either they don't get that 0.25% increase and if they exceed that 0.25% increase. So that comes out at 8 p.m. So I'm sure my alerts are going to be going off here in about 39 minutes. All right. Let's see. Hold on, bear with me. There we go. Okay. And the other thing that I'm going to be looking at is on the, let's see. The other thing I'm going to be looking at is we're kind of missing something here, right? And if, Wednesday is typically the FOMC for the US dollar, right? And there's nothing there for FOMC. So I'm kind of curious to see what we're going to do. There's nothing on the press release, and they've said they're going to do a couple of rate increases this week, and we haven't seen that. So I'm very concerned why that's not on the calendar, because what are they putting off and why are they putting it off? You can see they're talking, right? They're talking down here. You've got one guy here and you've got a second guy here who's going to be speaking. But why aren't they showing what's going to happen here? On the pound, right? Pound, we're going to see some pound volatility when the minutes, because that's essentially what that is. It's going to be the meeting minutes from the policy reports. And then the governor is going to be speaking on Thursday. So we're set up for some volatility this week. I'm focusing on the dollar crosses. I'm focusing on some pound stuff. And I really want to see what the Kiwi and the Australian dollar are going to do. All right. All right. So moving on with that, I want to let's dive right into TradingView, and then we'll go from there. And here, while that's loading, bear with me 1 second. All right. There you go. So I played a little ping pong with SPX today, but we'll see how it kind of plays out. I think it actually broke me even. I think it did actually. It broke me even on the sells. But all right, so let me go through kind of what I'm looking at, what I'm holding, and we'll definitely dive into further price action that I want to see. Starting off with my favorite, CHFJPY, right? I'm still holding buys. Nothing has changed my position on it. Still holding the buys out of here. And what I wanted to see, obviously, I'm waiting for us to confirm the higher time frame, right? What I want to see is do we trade above this high up here? Well, we're not there yet. We're still showing some bullish narrative. The intent is still there. And what I'm kind of focused in on is going to be this price action right here. All right. So we do have, a ton of liquidity sitting here in the form of a distribution. All right. And ideally what we could potentially see going on here is, you've got your one drive, two drive, essentially a third drive, and then this being the UTAD of that supposed distribution. With that, if we trade lower, sweep out the liquidity, this is my target. I want to see if I can get an accumulation out of there to then just follow the arrows, right? Make a new high. If we don't do that, right? If we don't do that, then what I'm going to be looking for is I'm going to be looking for us to trade higher first, confirming that break. And then I know that order flow is being respected from down here, and then look for that accumulation to then sweep here. All right. So that's ultimately what I'm going to be looking for on CHFJPY. I still 100% favoring the buys. Just keep in mind, right, that we're just kind of playing order flow here. And like if I kind of just show like this view right here, right? If we do it like this, what you're seeing is the break right up here, right? So we know that this is maintaining lower time frame structure. And because that's maintaining lower time frame structure, what I'm going to be looking for is continuation of that bullish narrative. And obviously I wanted price to come a little deeper into here. We didn't see that. So instead, what I want to do is I'm just going to play the continuation move. What's a continuation move? Continuation move is that thing that looks like a distribution that then confirms, right? A new high, break of structure with the jump of the creek. So when we get that reaccumulation, I know that this is my X marks the spot. That's where I want price to come back to give me an accumulation to ride it up. All right. So continuation on CHFJPY is what I'm looking for. I'm going to be a little cautious with the JPY crosses, right? And the reason I'm doing it is, it's been a long time since we've had Russia threatening to invade foreign countries. And, for any Russians out there listening, no harm, no foul, but You know, you can't just go knocking on your neighbor's door and saying you're moving in without ramifications. So with that, I'm potentially seeing a strength going on in the Japanese yen. So that means that we could see some decent pullbacks on yen crosses. Now, the reason I'm favoring CHFJPY for the buy is because the Swiss franc is still also, it's a safe haven, right? So we're kind of netting two safe havens together. You know, so I'm okay playing the buy on it, if that makes sense. Any questions on that? No? All good? Bear with me here. Hold on. All right, cool. And if you hear the animals, don't worry. It's a busy night here in the Fibs and Profit house. We got volleyball and baseball going on tonight, so everyone's coming and going. All right, so CHFJPY, that's what I'm looking at, right? Those buys. The next thing I'm going to be doing, awesome, yeah. The next thing I'm going to be looking for is I'm going to be looking for EG, right? And kind of just my thought process on what EG is doing. I still see us coming down for another push down. Whether or not that push down breaks, right? So we can do one of two things, right? We can either fully just take out this low, or we're going to come deeper into it, give an accumulation somewhere here to then take this market just a little bit higher to where I'll be looking for those hedge sells. And yeah, I'm doing EG now. So that's ultimately what I'm going to be looking for. Right. I'll tell you right now, there is absolutely no limit I'm setting on EG, simply because we haven't done anything. You know, I mean, if we just pay attention to what EG has done, right, it is really truly nothing at all. You know, we haven't broken any lower time frame structure. All we've done is just a break of order flow, right? And really the only order flow break that we've seen is because of this break right here, right? This one break is all we're hinging this on. So that's not enough for me. This right here is not enough for me to put a limit order out of here. All right. I don't think this is going to hold. I really don't. I think, you know, the snow is yellow, and I'm pretty confident that that's going to get taken. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. One of the one thing that I do want to see is, and I would have felt a little better if Frankfurt would have swept it, but it didn't. All right. So yes, this is an accumulation. It is only a type 2 accumulation. We only got 3 drives, right? You got 1 drive, 2 drive, 3 drive, and that's all she wrote. So, you know, I'm not going to say I'm confident that we're going to sweep it, but I'm personally not going to be taking a buy out of it, right? Instead, what I would rather do is if it does come down in here and do something, I'll wait for the next high, and then I'll play the reaccumulation. That's just how I'm going to play it, because we're still very, very bearish on EURGBP. So ACAD, yeah, we'll get to ACAD. So on EURGBP, that's pretty much how I'm looking at it. You know, I'm still holding the buy, right? I'm still holding the buy out of this order right here, and I'm still holding a massive amount of sells. So, you know, you can see like we distributed out of here. We never came back to retest it. And, you know, now I've got kittens at my feet. And now what we're doing is we're kind of just playing in the middle. So ideally, if we do come in, and here's where I'm looking for my potential buy area, right? If you come down just to the 5-minute time frame, and you just measure out the manipulation. So manipulation is the high of this wick to the bottom of the wick, that entire drive. What I'm looking at is this 50% down into like that 80% area. This area right here is where I'm looking. Okay. So we come into that area, and that's ultimately where I'm going to be looking. So we'll send this out here into, there we go. All right, so we come down into that, and I'll be looking for a buy. Okay. Why do schematics need 3 drives? The same reason that birds need wings to fly. I mean, yeah, schematics need 3 drives. So it's just how the algorithm was written. It needs a minimum of 3 drives. It can have like 50 drives, you know. It just needs a minimum, and it all has to do it all has to do with the phases. You've got your A, your B, your C, and your D phase, and right, you got this is the initial point where you have your climax to your rally, and then when you get in here, this is where orders are getting filled in your secondary tests. So your secondary tests are ultimately where orders get filled. So you need those minimum 3 drives, otherwise orders don't get filled, right? So 3 is the minimum. Could you have all of these be secondary tests? Absolutely, right? You don't leave phase B. You won't leave phase B until you get to phase C, which is either, you know, if you think of it like phase C as either a sign of strength or a spring in a UTAD, right? So it's either spring UTAD or sign of strength, sign of weakness. When you get that, that's when you know you're in phase C. Everything before that is going to be in your phase B. So is order flow the lower time frame structure? So if you think of it like this, higher time frame order flow equals intraday structure, right? Intraday structure or intraday order flow equals lower time frame structure, and then your lower time frame order flow is just that, lower time frame order flow. There's many facets of order flow, right? I think that's the biggest issue I think people have. I'll tell you this, like when I would say like 80 to 85% of my losses are because of order flow, right? And I mean, I'm still going to take them, right? It's still something I'm willing to trade, but you know, that's why I risk so little on order flow plays. Okay. Yeah. So we'll, you know, when it comes to EG, you know, like I'm really not committed to long-term buys on it. You didn't take SPX today because I was watching it and waiting for a type 1. It gave a type 1. Oh, you talking about on the buy or are you talking about the sell? Yeah, let me know if it was the buy or the sell, and we'll get into SPX. Yeah, I'll talk about it. Yeah, so on EG, I'm not 100% committed to the buy yet. You know, obviously, you know, every chart has a buy and a sell area. Where do I want to sell from? Right, I want to sell from these areas right here, from this area right here, or from up here. This distribution is what I want to sell from, because this distribution is what is maintaining our structure, right? Because of this break. So. Yeah. All right. That's kind of what I'm looking at for the buy. Oh yeah. I didn't wait for the schematic, man. I said this morning, right? I said this morning that, that I was going to have that. I had that limit. I was going to take that limit out of that accumulation that we had. So I just let it roll, man. It was either going to make me a ton of money, or it was going to make me that stop loss with a little risk. So that's what I took. Yeah. Yeah, we'll go through it though, man. We'll go through it. So on EG, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts, right? I'm going to wait for an accumulation and we'll see what happens. EURUSD, right? EURUSD. I'm still favoring the sells, right? 100% I'm still favoring sells. And I talked about it last week with DXY really showing their divergence in this. My main focus on EURUSD, right, is going to be this. So I'm gonna do one of two things, right? I'm gonna wait. You can see I have my alert down here, which confirms the redistribution. All right. If we trade below here, then I know definitively that Frankfurt price action is my target for me to get into a sell. Okay. So ideally, like if we do this, then I want it to come back into that and then play the short. All right. If we don't do that, all right, and you can kind of see what I was looking at playing here this morning. I was looking at, all right, what do we get here? We have a we're starting to see that weakness come in. There's nothing, absolutely nothing for me to play here though. Okay. This is my focal point, right? That is the manipulation at Frankfurt. That's what I want to see price ultimately come back into. I took a bunch of sells last week here that, we got some decent profits. And then of course the rest just broke even. So, I mean, I was happy with, I talk about Thursday, Fridays being my best trading days. And I will say, and there's a bunch of people on here tonight that can attest to this. Last week, so February historically, statistically, everything is my worst month, right? My worst month trading in 2020 was my worst month. 2021 it was my worst month. We'll figure out what 2022 does. So, I had taken a couple order flow plays last week, lost them. They weren't huge losses either. I mean, there was a lot of them that were reduced risk. A lot of them were just small risks that I was trying to get into and force trades. Thursday and Friday, though, I ended up making it up. Pretty decent price action, really, really nice. Ended up closing out half the orders. So everything I got into on Thursday and Friday, Friday afternoon, about lunchtime New York session, I closed out half of my volume. And I was able to, I'm sitting at about like I was at 6.92% before SPX, and I secured about 2% out of SPX. So I'm sitting at just under 9%. And if I just shut down trading until the end of the month right now, I'll finish with the best February I've ever had, because February is, again, statistically my worst month. So with that in mind, what I wanted to do was just make sure I understood, I always say partial out, partial often, right? Partial out, partial often. Do it if you're taking challenges or verifications. Do it if you're having a crappy week. Just secure some profits, right? I'll be the first one to tell you that, yeah, do I catch 1 to 100 trades? I do. Do I catch 1 to 100 trades with 100% volume? I absolutely do not. I will never tell anybody that, yeah, I held that 100% volume. Nope. I'm going to pay myself the risk on the trade. I'm going to partial out along the way. And when we get up to like a 1 to 100, a 1 to 200, a 1 to 300, that's all I care about. Okay. Just waiting on EU to trade higher in the distro. Yeah. Same with me. Same with me. Again, if we confirm, right? If we confirm this low down here, then I'll be looking at a Frankfurt. But if not, nothing has changed my bias that this is my target, right? Nothing has changed my bias. That is my target. This area right here. That's why that alert is sitting right here. All right. So ideally, that's where I want us to trade into on EU. Okay. And all I've done is essentially measure out the manipulation from the prior week's news candle, and just measure it out. And this gives me my target area. The 50% is what I want us to get into at first, right? If we can get into that, that's where I'm going to go. All right. You're looking for a buy on EA. Entry point is throw your chart in the chat. If you throw your chart in the chat, I'll open it up and we'll take a look at it. I know a couple guys were looking at EA this morning. So I did like the area. I just don't know if that's the same area, but we'll take a look at it. Are you always waiting for schematics in SC areas, or it just depends? So in order flow SC areas and in lower time frame SC areas, yes, I will wait for a schematic. In intraday or higher time frame SC areas, I will typically have a split risk. So I will have half of my risk tolerance I'll have in the form of a schematic, and then the other risk tolerance I will just set the limit. So, but I've got to have a reason to set the limit, right? So if you look back at all my like intraday SCs that I've taken, they've come out of prior accumulations that were unmitigated, where I knew exactly where to put my stop loss, knew exactly where my entry was. There's tons of confluence in that. So higher time frame bias on EU as to why you're looking into the lower time frame. So on EU, so I'm bearish. Yeah, I'm bearish. Yeah, I'm bearish. I'm bearish until we at least get down into this right here. I'm pretty convinced we're going to take this low, but we potentially could get this area right here. Could be the reason we get the bounce to get back up potentially into that. So yeah. if that makes sense. All right. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully that answers it. So that's kind of what I'm waiting on. EU, GU, right? GU. So GU. I had to do a long walk on Friday. SC is a slingshot candle. Yeah. I had to do a. So let's talk about GU. And with GU, I'll kind of let me hide my drawings for a second. So on GU, we were on GU, and I've been on GU for sells for a very long time. Okay. I've been pretty happy with what GU did. Now, when we look at GU, right, if I kind of just backtrack, let's just go replay mode here. And maybe this will kind of give somebody a breakthrough, or at minimum, it gives somebody a reason to not do what I did. All right. So out of this, okay, we know same thing like EU. This is the manipulation, right? This was the manipulation, and because that manipulation created this break, right? You understand that this is now what is maintaining order flow. So when I talk about I have a line in the sand, if we trade above this, I have issues, and I've got to look now what is happening up here and what is maintaining structure from up there. Okay. So, okay. I've got that area, and I know that, when we measure out the 80% comes in somewhere in there, which we get a nice little distro, right? We get a nice little distro on lower time frame, and you can see right here, beautiful distro, right? I mean, refrigerator worthy distro. And I mean, it happened so quick. The entry happened so quick that, and here it is, right? So here's your climax to your rally, to your test, to your test, to your UTAD, right? And then if you mark out from here to here, right, this thing comes smack dab on the dot, 80%. So we got triggered here and immediately get a really beautiful reaction. So when we came down into this price point right at 36,6100, right, 1.3600, when we came in there, I paid myself the risk on the trade. So if I risked 250 bucks, I just closed out 250 worth. If I risked 125, I closed out 125, right? I think in this case, I actually did only do 125, but whatever my risk was, I paid myself. And then, what happens, right? Price during stupid Asian session just kind of plays out, but then ultimately makes a new low, right? Right there, right? We make a new low. Okay. We trade below it, and here I'll go one more, boom. Right. So now, I'm heading to bed after this, and the rest is just kind of paying attention to what's my next play, right? Obviously my next play is wait for a distribution in here. Right? Wait for a distribution in this area and, continue the move. So when I ended up back testing Friday, right? Because for me, the big thing was I knew I missed a move, right? I felt too confident. Not that I felt too confident. I was sure of myself that we would not trade above this distro because it just was so methodically created that there was no reason for them to go above that. All right. So I didn't trade, but I didn't have, and I had this marked out, right? I had everything planned out. I had the game plan. But we end up trading above that, right? During London sometime. So I woke up and we had already bypassed this. So you can see here's the Asian session. Here's Frankfurt, and boom, London Open takes it out, right? London Open takes it out. It actually gave a pretty decent move. You can see, so here's the high, and Frankfurt comes in, and with Frankfurt, you see, I mean, really clean schematic, right? Let's actually, hold on. And, when you go back and you back test this, you got to ask yourself, okay, so we're sitting here, let's go for like 30 second. So you're sitting here and you got to ask yourself, okay, what do we have? Well, we have a clean schematic, right? We have a climax, we have a test, we have a test, and then we have a UTAD, right? But what do we not have? We do not have a BOS, right? And for me, every trade requires a BOS of some sort. No BOS, no trade, right? So if I don't get that structure break, there's nothing for me to do with this. Okay, so we trade above that. And obviously when I wake up, the move has already happened. And, you know, so I have to go back and I have to look at, well, what the heck happened? Why didn't I set this stupid limit order, man? And we got to go back to this, right? We have to go back to the original idea. If we remember that this is the line in the sand, right? This high, and we come back into what price did in this area, what do we see? So I'll ask everybody, like, what do you see in this price action here? What do we see? Head and shoulders. Yeah, it's actually not a type 5. For me, it wouldn't be a type 5. For me, it's actually a type 1, right? Does that make sense? Absolutely. Price cycle, market cycle. And you're right, Kevin. you know I had this marked out on the 1 second. So let me I had this thing marked out, and I mean, listen, this bothered me. There's little things that bother me in trading, and this one bothered me because I missed it. So, and I had the thing marked out. That's the thing. You know, I had it marked out. I had it there. So if you measure this to this, right? Here's your 80% right here. That's your 80%. And then if you come in, right? If you come in and you measure, let's go 1 second. Actually, I think I can still go 1 second. Yeah, I can go 1 second. So let's go 1 second, right? We go 1 second. I know this is difficult to see. So if you need to see it on the 1 second, we do that, right? We do that on the 1 second. And I'll go back 5 seconds here. So on the 1 second, what I did was this. I measured the UTAD, right? And the UTAD from here to here, right? Because you have 1 drive, 2 drive, 3 drive, right? UTAD. On the 3rd drive, you measure that, and this is 50% right here. 50%. So keep that in mind, right? This is 80%. This is 50%. We're talking the difference of 36428, 36430. That's 2 pipettes. Not 2 pips, 2 pipettes, right? That's what she is. Yeah. So yeah, bro, Kevin. I mean, I was on it. I'm glad you guys saw it. So now let's figure out, right? Remember, let's figure out what we were looking at, right? So remember, I had confidence in that distro, and where did price come to, right? What did price come to? Price comes to, there's that 50% of the micro, right? 50% of the micro. Where does she come? That's where she came right there. That's where she came right there. That 50% of the micro. You were looking at a 0.8 pipette stop loss. Yep. That's what you were looking at, right? Less than a pip stop loss. And immediately, what is the, when people ask, like, what's the sign that sellers mitigated and the market's going in the right direction? That's your sign of weakness right there. Bye-bye. They're not waiting for anybody to jump on the train. They're just going full steam. So this gave a 1 to 87 from the London high to about lunchtime New York. You took it? Good, man. Awesome. Awesome. Dude, I was pissed. I was pissed because when I woke up right around here. Right in here. And then obviously you could see the redistribution. So I thought, well, I'll just play the redistro. You know, I'll wait for it to come back up. And the damn thing never came back up for me. So it is what it is, you know. And then, of course, you could see what I was looking at here today. We just never came back to it. And this thing ended up just collapsing, going for a total of a 1 to 129, right? Plus spread. It doesn't matter, man. Not the same, but it's still good enough, you know. Yeah, it's a beast of a trade, you know. So now, like going forward, what's the plan? Like, what am I looking to do with this thing? So yes, remember, you have to understand that this low right here, right? This low right here still needs to be met, right? We still need to trade below that. But we are, if you follow this, right, we're in a bearish market with bearish order flow and evidence of sellers filling orders to get into this market. So what am I going to do? I'm going to play the continuation move. Yeah. Can you explain the path of least resistance? Ruben talks about it in his books, but the concept went over my head. So I'll put it like this, right? I personally don't trade a lot of the stuff that Ruben talks about. And the reason I don't is because I don't have to worry about I'm trying to think how to word it. So Ruben, the whole, if you look at Wyckoff's history, right? When Richard Wyckoff first started implementing this strategy, he did so from tickers off of stocks, right? And a lot of it had to do with volume in the market, okay? The difference between volume in the Forex market and volume in stocks is the volume doesn't necessarily change in total volume of a currency, right? So like, let's take, for instance, GU, all right? We're not going to see, hypothetically, let's say that GU on a day-to-day basis trades, I don't know, let's say $5 million. We'll just throw that out there, right? 5 million in volume, okay? We're not going to miraculously one day see this thing jump up to 7 million in volume, okay? Where on a stock, you can potentially see that stock trading, the average volume in that stock is, say, $150,000 worth. And then immediately you see volume injected and it shoots up to $1 million. And that's where, when you deal with path of least resistance, is dealing with, okay, so if price is well, actually here, we'll just use this example right here. If you just look at this as like an accumulation, right? Yeah, exactly. Yep, absolutely. Yes, has to deal with liquidity, and it has to deal with that mitigation point, right? I personally don't deal with a lot of it because I don't need to. Like, I'm not worried about some unknown person coming in and dropping 1 million lots on GU and screwing up, or not screwing up, but manipulating what GU's market cycle is attempting to do, where you would see that in a stock, right? And that's where, you know, I'll tell you right now, like, I don't trade stocks anywhere as often as I used to, just because the R to R is not there, right? But when I traded stocks, I'm not taking a 1 pip stop loss on stocks, because you can't, because you have to adjust for that, you know, unknown volume that can come in and manipulate. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Yeah. So with GU, right? Like, what am I looking for GU to do? You know, obviously New York session, we had an accumulation. I'm not looking for a buy out of that thing whatsoever. Right? What am I looking for GU to do? I'm looking for GU, honestly, just to come back up into this area here, right? You can kind of see like my thought process in here. I wanted to see an accumulate or a distribution in this area, but we just shot right through it. So there was no reason for me to look at it. Like, this area here is no longer even of any value to me. So what I need to do is I'm going to be waiting for price coming back up into this area up here. So anywhere in this area up here, if we come up and we start to show signs of distribution, this is where I'm going to get, because when we follow our order flow, this is our order flow. All right. If that makes sense. All right. So GU, yeah, I'm continuing to look for the shorts. All right. And ideally, you know, you've got a type 1 in here. This is just as, you know, if it was an order flow, I'd have a limit order set, but you've got a type 1 set up in here. Right here. It's all London price action. You know, so your type 1 is this right here. And I'm not entirely sure. Let's see. This was at 315. Let me just see if there's actually volume in here. Yeah, there's no volume in there. That's all fantasy. So you can actually just do this. You can come right here and bye-bye. All right. So yeah, here's your trading range, right? You've got essentially this right here, right? You've got, you know, 1 drive, 2 drive, 3 drive, 4 drive, and you got your UTAD, right? You can even count that as another drive. So this being your UTAD, I'd be looking, and then you could see the market cycle here. You've got your distribution, right? Your distro up here. And then you got your redistro here. Right? Yep, it is. We got a couple minutes. I'm personally not trading anything on it. I'm just going to wait for the after effect, but yeah, it's coming out. Check USDJPY. Yeah, we're going to go through USDJPY too. We're going to go through USDJPY. I actually want to just see, hold on. Give me 1 sec. I just want to pop over to NCAD real quick. Bear with me 1 second. I just want to see some. Curious to see what they're going to do. Let us see. I'm guessing by the look of it, they stayed the same. Yeah, it came in as projected. All right. Yeah. All right. No fireworks today. All right. No worries. No worries. So like I said, on sec here. Yeah, so on GU, I'm going to be looking for the short. I'm going to be looking for the short out of that distribution. And if for some reason we don't get up there, right? Like let's just say hypothetically that we trade into something here, right? So we do this distro here, right? How do I get into this market? So I would get into this market by confirming the distro, playing the redistribution, right? So you can imagine price is going to come in here, wait for an LPS entry, wait for the break, and then take that mitigation, right? That's how I'm ultimately going to play it. All right. So we'll see how that plays out. All right, there we go. Yeah. So GU, looking for the shorts on it. NZDCAD, I had that up on the screen. You know, I'm waiting. You know, you can see I kind of was looking to play. I kind of was looking to play this distro here, right? But I always ask yourself, what did price trade into? You know, so what do we notice? What do we notice about this price action right here? Right, it's a reaccumulation, and the fact when you measure this shakeout of the reaccumulation and the distribution sends price right to the 80%, that immediately sends up a red flag for me. So when I get that red flag, I immediately start to, you know, ask myself, well, what the heck are they doing? You know, why is price playing into that 80%? And then when you see this, right, this should have been the distribution, right? This should have sent that weakness to then come back and mitigate to go lower. And when it didn't do that, that immediately negates the reason for me to take anything further out of this. All right. And of course, like the area just wasn't the cleanest. So yeah. Yeah. Throw your chart in. Yeah. Throw your chart in. Yep. Well, we'll look at BTC. Nothing, I'll be honest, nothing's really changed on BTC for me. So yeah, we'll, but yeah, if you got a chart, throw it in. We'll take a look at it. Yeah. So NZDCAD, like, listen, I'm still holding, I've been holding NZDCAD shorts for, it feels like months now. I think it has been months, but you know, where am I looking? You know, realistically, this, you know, I talked about it when we were down here, right? I'm still waiting right here. You know, I still got that 80% of the 61 minute still pending. You know, that limit is still there. And if we come into this, because this is the slingshot that caused that break, yeah, I'll take that. Right. I'll still play out of either of those, but we got to get up there, you know, and until we get up there, there's just really nothing for me to play into. All right, there we go. Yeah, so NZDCAD, much like ACAD, you know, ACAD was the same kind of story. UJ is another one, right? I'm looking for buys on UJ, right? And if you kind of see the, let's look at the bigger picture on UJ here, right? So we know you can't paste the whole link. Why not? Does it not like do the? I'll tell you what. Here, just do this. If you come up here, hold on. So if you come up here, just paste, I think because of that, just paste this last piece right there. Right. So like when you screenshot it, right? When you screenshot it, open up in a new tab. And so when you open it up a new tab, just give me, just paste like that right there. Right. Copy and paste that and drop that in. So I think, let's see. Yeah. Just do that. Just paste it. So like, it'll look like this, right? So like if I paste it, it'll look like that. Just paste that. All right. And then I'll pull it up. I think because I have it to like this stupid bots and all that. I get so tired of the spamming bots and all that with the links. So where did I learn from? So I started learning. I never knew anything about trading almost 5 years ago, right? I started in IM. Actually, back then it was iMarkets Live. Started in there. I'm actually still in there. I still, you know, partake in the festivities of iMarkets Live or IM Academy, whatever they call it now. And then I did a private mentorship too. So, you know, I can tell you that I had the right tools. I just didn't know how to execute it right until I did my private mentorship. And that was 3 months. It was 12 weeks of like 40 hours a week, 8 to 5, really diving into it and honing in that skill level. So yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. So anyway, UJ, right? Let's talk about UJ here. And actually, hold on real quick while we take a second. Let me just see if I've mined anything on this thing yet. Did I get one? Bear with me. Oh, I did. All right, cool. Let's see. Hold on, guys. Sorry. Was the private with Ment FX? No, it wasn't. No. All right. All right, cool. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, we're caught up. Cool. Yeah. So if you want me to look at it, just drop that last part of the chart, and I'll just paste it in. Okay. So UJ, right? UJ. I know I'm bullish from here, right? I know I'm bullish from here, and I know, overall what I'm looking for is I'm looking for price to come into this accumulation here or into the reaccumulation, right? This being the slingshot, this being the extreme that causes the break out of this distro, right? So we obviously had an accumulation, right? We obviously had an accumulation here that came into the slingshot, but hasn't made a new high. So this does not hold structure. Okay. So I know that, can we still come back lower? We can. But in a bullish market, I've got to play, right? I've got to play continuation moves. So what I wanted to look for, right, was what am I ideally maintaining order flow from? So order flow, I know we came here to here, distro, redistro, accumulation, reaccumulation, all the way up into a distro. So I know that's maintaining my order flow. So if we come, right, if we come into this area right here, if we come into this area right here, I will be looking for a buy. Well, sure as crap, this thing comes in, right? Comes right into the area I was looking for. And the one thing that I wasn't too happy with is how it did it. So you can see GE was bullish today through the weekly highs built up. Yeah, for me, it's not, but hold on. For me, we're still bearish. Hold on, let's take a look. So I guess the question is, what am I looking at here? Why is GU bullish? Yeah, let's see. Does it not concern me that UJ didn't make a new high? Not really, because we're still bullish, right? So broker took you out because of the spread, bro. That's there's nothing you can do with that. What broker was it? Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. That's the crappy thing about some of these brokers. There's just, oh wait, hold on. What the heck did I just do? Let me go here. Bam. Let's try it like this. I see markets. You say no more, man. I see markets. I have an entire list of people that I know that complain day in and day out about broker crap. And you know what? The one thing they always tell me when I ask them what broker do they use, they go, I see markets. Yep. You guys know who you are. Always complaining. Damn the broker this, damn the broker that. Took me out of this. Spread went from 3 pipettes to 1.5. Yeah. Took me out on a buy. which that one still drives me crazy that they took you out on a buy. So is this NZDCHF? Ooh, wow. So is it so I guess the question is all right, so if this is your spring, then you've had mitigation, right? You know what? I honestly don't know what NZDCHF is doing on all the time frames. I honestly haven't looked at an NZDCHF chart in a while, but if you're looking at this as an accumulation, right? And you've got your test, you got another test, and then you got your spring. So this is your spring, right? And I would venture to say that if you measure out your entire move of your spring, that this comes to 80% of that spring. And I know it comes to at least 50%. So this right here was your mitigation. And then when price made that new high coming back in, this was the mitigation of that. So like if I was going to label this, right, this would have been my test. And this would have been my LPS. And then, you know, you have a reaccumulation here. So when price did that, potentially I would say that price could, so this would not be maintaining any kind of order flow for me. Or I'm sorry, this would not be maintaining any kind of structure, right? I guess the question would be why is that maintaining structure for you when you only broke here, right? So if this is your high and this is your new high right here, then you have to go to the low that gut was created from, which is this low right here. So this is maintaining structure. Yeah, I could tell you that's not my intraday. My intraday would be nowhere on this chart right here. Lower time frame, maybe, but I would venture to say it's still not on there. Yeah, this cannot, for me, this cannot hold any kind of structure because it's a reaccumulation, right? This is the low that created the high. This is just the slingshot of it, right? Or the reaccumulation. Typically, your slingshots are going to be reaccumulations or redistros. Yeah, Lewis, bro, you know all about trailing stops. Yeah. Here's GU specification. All right, hold on. Let's see. Yeah. But the schematic is clean, right? The schematic is clean. I just don't see, like, here's my opinion, right? And I guess I have to like look at the NZDCHF chart to even really contemplate it, but this is our ICE, right? At this point, if price does this to come down to your order, unless, I mean, yeah, could it work out? Sure. But the minute we break order flow, because essentially when you trade below here, right, you've broken order flow. And then when you trade below here, you've broken the structure of the schematic, right? So now you're looking not only at going against order flow and the structure of the schematic to then reverse itself from here only to go higher. And I honestly, I don't think they're going to do that. It makes no sense to, because what you're doing is essentially they're taking out everybody who's helping them with this buy. They're taking everybody out, and only to then have a huge momentum shift here to go like that. So if they break through the ice, I would just honestly be waiting for them to make a new low and break here, right? Confirm this as a massive redistribution, if that makes sense. Yeah. Oh, break. Let's see. But everything else with it looks good. I mean, the schematic looks good. If we were bullish on it, though, I would, let's see, weekly highs. This low swept, and then bullish structure doesn't look retracement for the weekend. All right, so wait a minute. All right, so let's go back to GU. All right, so all right. So you think this is bullish? Maybe I'm all right. So for me, this right here is maintaining my lower time frame structure, right? So, and just following market cycle, right? We know the distribution here, which when we did that break right here, so we're supplies and control from there. We redistributed, right? Redistro. And then ultimately just walking this down, right? Like if we follow the structure point, you know, we know that we've done that to that to that. So this coming in to supply in the distro, right? And then price showing us a weakness. Is that an accumulation? Yes. Could this potentially be a reaccumulation? It can be, but nothing about this is telling me to buy. You know, if I don't get another sell in here, where am I going to wait? I'm either going to wait for one of two things, right? I'm going to wait for, I just mean that the lower high is on the way. The lower high. So the lower, but this, the lower high won't be set until we break the lower low, right? You can't have a lower high. Like this can't be the lower high until this break right here, right? When we get this lower low, then this becomes the lower high. Because right now, all of this means absolutely nothing because we're lower high from here to a lower low. Yeah. The peak of the distro can be above the weekly high. The peak of the distro can be above the weekly high. Okay. The weekly high. Hold on. The weekly high. Yeah, I mean, all right. I think I know what you're talking about because you're talking about you trade the weekly ranges is what you're saying. So are you saying that you're expecting us to distro above this? Is that what you're saying? I mean, I'll just say this. Like, I personally don't trade. I used to do daily and weekly ranges. I don't anymore. So for me to get involved in GU, what do I need to see? I either need to see weakness, right? Or I just need to see the distro, right? Like we're stuck in here, right? So if we get that, you know, you got 1, 2, 3. If we get that, what do I need? I just need this BOS. That's it, right? I just need that. And then I can play into this to then short it. But I think I know what you're talking about. Like, yeah, trading above the weekly. Yeah. Okay. I got you. Yeah, for a second there, I was a little worried, man. I thought you were talking like we were bullish. And I mean, listen, I'm definitely open to different mindsets, right? Because I mean, there's been countless times where somebody's shown me something that I wasn't looking at that way. But man, this is definitely looking bearish to me. I mean, who was it? Wait a minute. Who was it that we were on a Zoom and I had the chart inverted? I had the chart inverted and they were... never mind. All right. Yeah. Okay. I got you. The peaks of the district can be above the weekly high. Yeah. I just don't think we're going to get, I don't think we're going to get that far up. I think it's going to be compressed. We'll just get a quick manipulation and then the drop. Yeah. How do you know how far back you have to look on the chart? So I guess the question would be like, what are you trying to find? You know, if I'm trying to find my structure point, just go back to the last manipulation point, you know? So, you know, like if in this case here, if I really wanted to like work GU into structure, right? I know that this traded above it right there. So I know that this is the leg. And I know when that market cycle distribution breaks that leg, then I know everything is being controlled from here. So this is how far I got to go back. And then, you know, from a lower time frame perspective, you know, I can see that we've got completed market cycle here. So, you know, this is as far back as I got to go right here for lower time frame. Yeah. You remember who that was? Yeah. Absolutely. Let's see. All right. Yeah. Okay. So got to catch the, yeah, man. No worries, bro. Have a good one, man. Have a good one. So we talked about GU. I know somebody asked if I'm concerned that UJ did not make a new high, right? So let's just look at it like this. On UJ, right? What are we seeing here? What are we seeing? And I'll keep my drawings hidden for a sec because I just want people to kind of give me an idea. What do we see here? I'll see what you guys think. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Reaccumulation, right? 100%. So we know that this was the distro, right? We know this was the distro. We know that distro was confirmed, but we accumulated, we reaccumulated, and then we made a new high, right? And then price came back into the slingshot, right? Price came back into the slingshot. So when we did that, right? Has the failure to make it looks like a potential distro on a much higher time frame? I'll give you that, right? Like on here. So can this be? Can we look at it like this? Hold on. Can we look at it like that and potentially change of character here to here, right? And then maybe another secondary test. And then could we get something like that for a UTAD? Sure. I'll go with you on that. Absolutely. Yep, exactly. Perfect. No weakness, right? We've got no weakness. So does the fact that we're in a bullish market, but we're seeing potential distribution, should that shy us away from continuing to look for the continuation buys, right? And the answer for me is no, right? For me, I'm going to play the buy until the weakness is seen, right? And what I mean by that is like, so if we come here and we look at price action here, right? When I take a look at what I'm in here, I'll throw my drawings up here now, right? So when I look at what UJ is doing, all right, am I taking a limit order out of anything on UJ? Absolutely not, right? But what I am doing is I'm following the market cycle. I know that we accumulated here. I know that there was an attempt at a distribution. The fact that that distribution did not send this down, instead traded back into 50% of this, and then we made a new high, tells me that that is what is maintaining my order flow, right? So order flow is being respected from right here. So if price comes into this and shows me signs of buyers coming into the market, right? In my case, if it shows me an accumulation, right? Why shouldn't I play that accumulation? Yeah. Do I see a huge trend line coming here? Absolutely. Does that mean anything to me? Yeah. I mean, it's full of liquidity, but until price shows weakness, I'm going to continue to buy this, right? I'm going to continue to buy this all day long. So going into like where I'm looking, right? Where I'm looking is this, right? This last push in where we saw essentially buyers come into the market is where during New York session yesterday is where we came in and had some price action, right? This is where it's, I mean, it's not a type 1. It's nothing I'm going to put a limit on, but this is where we had an accumulation, right? So now out of this accumulation, I just want this accumulation to show me some kind of sign of strength, right? I want it to show me, okay, so what do I want to see that do? I want to see it be responsible for this break, right? So when we, or if we do this, right, then I know that I can essentially see that we are in this push right here, showing bullish structure with bullish order flow and a bullish narrative. I'm going to now continue to look for the continuation moves. So what would I look for? I would look for, if price now distributes up here, I'm going to look for that market cycle, the distribution, until I see an accumulation. And where I'm going to be looking for an accumulation, if we go straight up from here, right? If we go straight up from here, all right, I'm going to be looking in this area here, and I'll be looking in this area here. I'll just play alerts and wait for price to do that. So your maintained structure points are just points where the market generates new highs or lows, or otherwise it's just, so if it maintains structure, it's the structure leg, right? It's the leg structure. Yeah. So it's not just a high or a low, it's a leg high or a leg low, because you can have all kinds of highs and lows and they don't mean anything. So if that makes sense. Yeah. So yeah, on UJ, the fact that we didn't make a new high doesn't, I mean, would I have preferred a new high? Absolutely. Do I need a new high? I don't need a new high, right? In bullish conditions, and this is something that took me, oh man, look at this. Look at TradingView, bro. How many, didn't I say this was going to happen when I was this morning trying to flip in? Oh, you bastard. TradingView's next on my list, man. Yeah. Let's see. So yeah. I'm just kind of, you know, in bullish structure, do I need what? So let me ask you this, right? And this is, maybe this is something that'll make sense to you. In a bullish market, what is more important? Is it the highs or the lows in a bullish market? What do you guys think? Lows? Yes, the lows, right? Absolutely, the lows. So do I need new highs to be created? So, and what I mean by that is, like, let's just say that here's our low, here's our high, right? And then we get price coming down here. And if I see an accumulation here, I'm going to take it, right? If we do this and we come back here and I see another accumulation, would I not take the accumulation? Sure. And if we come here and we do another accumulation and we come here, all this is showing me is what? Evidence of buyers coming into the market. I don't necessarily need us to make a new high yet, right? Because as long as we are making this, right, bullish narrative or bullish order flow within our leg, I'm perfectly fine, right? I'm perfectly fine. Are we doing that on UJ, right? Are we doing that? Yeah, absolutely. Look at that. We can see accumulation, right? Follow that market cycle. So what's my expectation? That right there, you know, until we get that weakness. So yeah. So hopefully that makes sense, right? Hopefully that makes sense. Absolutely, man. Cause and effect, right? It comes back to my 3 keys, right? Comes back to the 3 keys right there, right? Structure, supply and demand, right? Which means following our market cycle, cause and effect. This is right here, the keys to a successful trading career, I'll tell you right now. So, all right, cool. So let's do this. Let's jump into SPX as well, right? I know DR just jumped off, but he'll rewatch this. I know Kevin, you'll appreciate it. So this morning, right? And I'll kind of give you my thought process, right? This morning I was looking, we were looking for sells. We've been looking for sells on indices for, I don't know, till the cows come home. Actually, I think, I don't know if West is on the call, man, but West is up here in this entry from like 40. Actually, no, it's higher than that, right? Hold on. West is in a trade still holding from like the 4,800 mark up here on SPX. So we've been trying to sell this stupid thing. And if you look at my trading view, right? Where did I throw it? I threw it, here you go. I threw this on U30. I had been waiting on this since October 25th, right? October 25th, I was talking about price distributing, walking itself into here. And yeah, you know, that's where we're at, right? That's where we're at. What the heck are you doing? Bro, Lewis, are you all right, man? What do you got on there, man? I have no clue what the hell that is. Thoughts on CADCHF? I'm bearish, man. Look for the sells. We'll get to it. It's on the watch list here, but I'm looking for sells. Where did West get in? On up there? Out of the distro. Hold on. Out of here. Bro, I don't know if we can get that low anymore. So he got in right here. I don't know if we can get in that low though. So, but you could see it here. See the type 1 right here? And then that was his entry. I know he's got the chart on it. Mike, why do you use the 80%? That was his entry right there. That was his entry. Actually, I think he took it off the 50. If I'm not mistaken, I think he took it off the 50 because that would have been, what is that? That would have been, let's see, off the 50, it would have been a 4.5 point stop loss, and price is at what, 43.17. So what is that? 43.17. So he's only at a 1 to 110 on it. Actually, I think it went way lower than that, but yeah. So that's where he's in from. Thoughts on ACAD? Just like NZDCAD, I'm looking for bearishness, but out of structure, right? I'm out of structure is where I'm looking. Your question about the buy that happened, it was, but it wasn't ugly. Hold on. Let's look at it. It wasn't ugly. Let's look at it. Right. So let's go 1 minute, right? Cause not everybody's got the seconds time frame. What's ugly about this, right? We've got a distro, right? Follow me here, right? We've got the distro. We've got the creek. We've got price that maintains Asian liquidity, and then we get the sweep, right? Okay, so that's what she's at. Let's look 15 second. Right? Hold on. Yeah. So let's look at it, right? So, and you remember, this is what I took it out of right here, right? That's what I took it out of. But let's the mitigation, right? No, the entry that came in the afternoon, right? Yeah. See, I'll tell you right now, I didn't even look when the alert went off. I looked and I saw the reaction, so I just went to reduce risk. But I had said that I was throwing a limit order on this, right? But we have a clean type 1, right? Here's your climax to your AR. This blue line right here represents 50% of the trading range. Our test comes to 50% of the trading range. Our test comes to 50% of our trading range. Our test, 50% of the trading range. And then we get our spring, right? We get our spring. And then let's go one step further. Let's go 5 second, right? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. This is what I set it out of, right? And then we go to the 5 second. And what do we have here? So in our spring and again, timing is everything, right? Session timing is everything. This right here is the London Open at 3 a.m. Eastern, right? So what do we get? You know, I don't know if you guys can, you have to have a very creative mind to look at some of my schematics, right? Can you guys see the type 1 here, or should I go 1 second? If I go 1 second, I think you'll see it better. You were holding SPX sells, wasn't expect that buy up. Yeah, but the buy up was just into my sell area. You know what I mean? Like we were waiting for the the sell as well, you know? So, okay. Can everyone see the type 1? Everyone see this type 1, right? Does that make sense, right? You can see all the drives and then the spring. So here's your type 1. And what I did was my type 1 is that right there, right? That's your spring. So what I did was 50% of this move right here is that, right? And then, I'm sorry, 80% of the spring and 50% of that move. And then our spring, the whole spring move, that's 50% of it, right? Does that make sense? So what you've got essentially is this right here, look. So you've got climax, test, spring, right? So I just measured this move right here, and that's 50% of it. And, you know, I said this morning that for me, it was worth the entry. It was worth the risk, right? It was worth me throwing a limit order on that thing. And that's where she came right there. So my stop loss was right at the bottom of that wick. So it was about a it was a 22 pip stop loss, right? It was 2.2 points. And so that was the entry. And let me see, Kevin, hold on. Cause you're saying, so I didn't even look at it, man. I'll be honest. I didn't even look at it. Give me a sec. Let's take a look. Let's go replay mode. Let's go here. Yeah. You were done trading by that time? I got you. All right, so let's go 5 second. Yeah, bro, this is garbage. I see what you mean. Yeah. Yeah, so when we got this, look, when we did that, right here, I wouldn't reduce risk. When this happened, reduce risk. When this happened, I went break even. I broke it even. And then power hour came in, right? Then we got into power hour. And power hour for me was right on point because all right, so power hour. This morning I was looking for a sell, right? I was looking for a sell out of this distro here, right? Out of this distro right here. And when you measure out the entire thing, you know, we came in close to 50%. So what I was looking at was, all right, so what the heck did power hour do for me, right? And we come over here on the 15 second and there she is, right? This was, and normally I don't trade this time, right? But there was a couple of things that I was looking at. You know, the first is, all right, so we have 1, 2, 3 UTAD. Well, what did it do? Not only did it break that, but significantly it broke this as well. So I took it out of 50%. I actually got triggered here. You know, so I don't know if maybe on TPT it actually got in there, but I was actually triggered. Maybe on a Wanda, it's just a little different. But so I got filled here, and as soon as this happens and we break this low right here, reduce risk, break it even, and I actually closed out 50% volume of my buys. And the buys at that point, I think we're like at a 1 to 27. Hold on, let me just see. What do you look for in every time session? What do I look for in every time session? Oof. All right, let me think about that answer. Hold on. It's ugly but valid. I feel like I would have only taken if it was your structure bias POI, not counter trend. I got you. Yeah. No, we haven't got to AJ yet, man. Yeah. Just for if you're new to these kind of streams, these things are normally I'm on here for like 3 hours, but yeah, I gotta go into depth on stuff. So, yeah. But we'll get to it. We'll get to AJ. AJ's on the list. So yeah, you could see, so I ended up closing out 50% volume here for a 1 to 26. So even Kevin, right? If you would have thrown, let's just say like $50 on it, right? At $50, you're up 13.27 on it. You know, on $100, right? On $100 on a 200K account, you're up 1.3% on your account. On a 100K account, you're up 2.6%. So, Yeah. And then, of course, you know, what did I do? I closed out some partials when we came down here right at, because the market was going to close at 4 p.m. Right at 4 p.m., I closed out at a 1 to 8. I closed some volume out. I just checked. So I am still in this trade. I guess for some reason, maybe the spread didn't take me out, or maybe I gave a little extra spread. So I'm still sitting in this. But yeah, what is my expectation for SPX? I'm still thinking that we may come a little higher, right? I still want to come into this right here. Right. If we can come into this, that'd be something I'm looking at. But, you know, I'm not losing focus of the bigger picture. The bigger picture is we're still at a discount, right? Where do I really want to sell from? I want to sell from this area right here, right? This area right here is where I want to sell from. Okay. We can see that we did this, and this is maintaining our order flow. So all of this was just, you know, very aggressive plays on it, but I want to see if can we come up here, which is why I didn't close out all my orders from the buy, right? I want to see if we can come into this price action and then sell that sucker off. All right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I going into it, I'll tell you this, going into it, I had every intention of trying to play ping pong on it. And you guys know me. I don't like to play ping pong, but on SPX it was worth it. You know? So it was worth it for me. All right, so let's do this. Let's see. All right, I'll tell you right now, I'm not even going to look at gold or silver because I'm not looking at metals until we figure out what the hell Russia's doing. So on ACAD, and you know what? Let me do this. Let me fill up some water because my throat's running a little dry. Give me like 20 seconds, 30 seconds to just fill up my water bottle, and I'll be right back. All right, hold on. All right, sounds good. Okay, so ACAD. I'm really hoping it didn't come into there and just going to melt from there. So ACAD, what am I looking at? Right, this distribution right here is maintaining structure, right? Maintaining our leg. So I actually have an order set out of that distribution at 50% of the UTAD. And I was looking because this is a very important slingshot that caused the original boof. And you can see like we reacted off of that 50%. I'm not ready to get in. Well, one, I don't trade it this time. I'm not ready to get into it. So I'm curious to see if it's showing signs of distribution because I know NCAD was looking like it did. Oh, bro, I'm going to be pissed. I mean, it looks like a lot, but it's only like 12 pips. Oh, awesome, man. Good. It's 2:45 in the AM in Germany. Doesn't matter. I'll tell you what, listen, my first 2 years trading, I'll tell you, I used to jump on a Zoom call. One of the guys I used to follow in IM, he would drop a Zoom link 5 minutes before 3 a.m. Right? He would do it in Telegram, and it maxed out at 100 people. So like you had to be quick on that button to jump in that Zoom call. And I remember like setting my alarm. I'd get home from work at 10 p.m., 11 p.m. sometimes. I'd set my alarm, wake up, do the Zoom call, be up till about 4:30 in the morning. Then, go back to bed until 6:15, wake up, and then go to work. It sucked, man. It sucked. But yeah, I'll tell you this, like I devoted a lot of time and a lot of energy to really perfecting, and I still perfect it. I mean, you know, there's a lot of times where it may not, you know, it may seem like easy, but in the background, like I'm doing a lot of work on it. You know, I'll be up, you know, lately, and my wife can attest to it. Lately, I've been up to almost 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, finishing my journals, finishing some back tests, you know, going through and making sure that I had a really good understanding of what happened. So yeah. 6:40 in the morning in Pakistan. Oh, awesome, man. Well, look, it's yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. I'll tell you this though, my days of waking up for London are over, man. I'll do it every now and then. If like, you know, like Zach McDonald may do like a little, special session during London or something, I'll jump on, sometimes with him and stuff. But man, when that alarm goes off at 3 a.m., it is for real. It is for real. So, all right. So ACAD, yeah, like I'm still looking for this to come up a little higher, you know, there's two ways, right? I'm only looking for the sell, right? Because we haven't broken lower time frame structure. All right. So here, if I clean up, let's just clean up all of this madness. Actually, no, I'm not going to clean up that because hold on. I'm not going to clean that up because I'm in sells on ACAD, right? I've been in sells for a couple of weeks. Actually, I think my oldest trade on ACAD is back in like November. And I do have a hedge opportunity from here, right? I marked this up this morning and I've got it on the whiteboard. I like this little 1 minute candle, right? But more importantly, if you go to like 15-second, why do I like it? Because let it catch up. Come on. Oh, for the love. There we go. I like it just because it is that manipulation. Now, that session time is horrible, right? It's Sydney session, but it's the manipulation, the accumulation that causes the overall break. So you're in New Zealand? Good for you, man. Yeah, good for you. I hear the weather is pretty cool over there right now, too. So, was I still able to obtain trading knowledge and practice, even running off 3? Yeah, let me tell you. Yep. And I worked a full, I didn't even work a 40-hour job. I worked like, I don't even know what you would call it. Like it would be like an 80-hour job a week plus learning how to trade. So yeah, I'll tell you this. I used to bring, I used to have a neck pillow. It's somewhere around here too, because I'll sleep on my desk here sometimes if I'm just like waiting for like price action or waiting for something and I'm up early. Like on Thursdays, I try to get up around 4:30 in the morning. So I'll just have my neck pillow and I'll just be conked out here. I'll be conked out over on my couch over there. But yeah. I mean, it's a sacrifice you sometimes got to do. I call it my office hours, right? Everybody has to work certain shifts. Everyone has to do certain work hours. And sometimes my work hours dictate I got to get up early. I got to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, So, but listen, I used to work a night shift. I used to work from 10 p.m. until like 7 a.m. I worked night shifts for 9, 10, almost 11 years. I worked night shift. So, I'm used to it. It's pretty hot in New Zealand, really? I thought it was supposed to be winter down there. All right. No, I guess we're in winter. You're in summer, right? We're in winter. Yeah, it's hot over here. Like if you look, what was it? What's it, currently right now? What is it? It's 8:51 p.m. and it's 75 degrees with probably 100% humidity. So yeah, it isn't the greatest. Yeah. So ACAD, like I don't want to. Otherwise, we're going to be here till like midnight, and you guys are really gonna. So ACAD, where am I waiting? I'm waiting. Either we're going to come up into this distribution up here, right? Or what gets me into this trade right now? Like what if I wake up at London, what gets me into this trade? Well, what gets me in this trade is I need us to break some kind of order flow and market cycle. So what I want to see, right? I know that we are here, right? I know that is the major order flow. And if price does something like this, right, gives me a distribution here, I'll take that, right? Because we're in the right area, right? This is in that area that I wanted to see. The other option is what if price does this, right? What if price now breaks this low? What gets me into this trade? Well, I'm going to expect an accumulation here, right? And then what do I want to see? I want to see price either give me a distribution here, or if we break this low and confirm a redistro, then I know that this is a manipulation. We come back up here. I'm going to look for a distro there. All right. Florida, actually, you'd be surprised. We're not that close to the equator. You know, we're a good ways. I mean, I don't know exactly the distance, but I mean, I know when I crossed the equator, when I was in the military and the Navy and stuff, we crossed the equator. It was a ways from Florida. You know, we were hours and hours and hours away. So, but yeah, Florida's just, I mean, it's beautiful, but it is hot and muggy, man. All right, AJ, I know somebody's been asking about AJ. So AJ, what is my thoughts on AJ? Well, my thoughts are this, right? Let's do it like this. All right. So because of this break right here, we're bullish. Where are we bullish from? We're bullish from this leg right here, right? This is our bullish leg. Everything to the right of that is noise, right? It's designed to do one thing only, cause massive confusion. I'm sure it's done that. All right. So I know that I'm in a bullish leg. So now what do I need to really focus on? So what is the most recent bullish order flow? So we know that price manipulated the market here, right? And then we know that we reaccumulated. We know we came into a distribution. And then we know that that demand was mitigated out of this reaccumulation. What am I ultimately going to be looking for? A new high. So we know we have an accumulation. We know that price has reaccumulated. We know that we came into demand. We look at a potential distribution, but if I was a betting man, I would say that that distribution is going to be a reaccumulation that causes this high, right? You following everybody kind of following with me here on like following the market cycle. So by just anticipating what I want to see happen here, okay, if this turns into a reaccumulation and we bust this high right here, right? Point of interest number one becomes my slingshot, which is this. Point of interest number two becomes the extreme of order flow, which is this, right? That accumulation. That's option A. Option B is if we do not take this high, right? If we do not take this high and we come lower, where am I looking? I'm looking right here, right? Because this is the most recent order flow. I would now need to see an accumulation here, right? If we do go higher, right? If we do go higher, say we do make this move to the upside, all right? Don't lose focus of where we are on the bigger picture, right? Because bigger picture, right? Bigger picture, let's just say that reaccumulation here does this and we break that high, right? This becomes the slingshot. This now becomes my leg, right? So could we not come here to only come all the way back down to this 215-minute candle that I've been waiting on ever so patiently for us to go higher? Absolutely. Right? So I guess one of the biggest things or the best advice I can give you when you're trading lower time frame is don't forget to zoom out, right? I'll tell you what, for a very long time, I used to have right on the bottom here of my monitor, I used to have a sticky note, and it used to say zoom out. My daughter actually like bedazzled it. There was like glitter and some like little some like diamond studs on it that said zoom out, and it always just reminded me to zoom out because I used to get tunnel vision, right? I recognized I used to get tunnel vision, and now like people in my mentorship group and stuff, that's the first thing I always do, right? I tell them, don't get tunnel vision, zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, right? It's so important to make sure that you're seeing the bigger picture. So, oh, look, somebody was asking me about EA. It's time to look for some buys. So AJ, that's what I'm looking for, right? I'm looking for buys. I'm personally, it's nowhere in an area that I want to commit equity to though, right? It's not doing something that I want to dive into. So, it's just going to be a wait and see. All right, cool. All right. Yeah. All right. AU, let's talk about AU. So I am, again, looking for sells on AU, right? And you can kind of see what I wanted to see out of this. We had a potential distribution, but what did I not get? I never got my break of structure. No break of structure, no trade, right? So if this is now going to be a reaccumulation, where am I looking? Well, much like GU, this is the line in the sand, right? This is my line in the sand. So am I going to set a limit order out of there? I wish I had a limit order that I could set, but there is nothing. Oh, let's take a look again. So the problem with with AU is this. So do we have a distribution? We do have a distro. The problem I have, though, is it's not a type 1. It is only, well, let me see if I can make it a type 1. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see. And I can try all day long, but that's not going to be a type 1. We've got a 1 drive, a 2 drive, a 3 drive. If this would have given me a little more of a push down, I'd say that was a better commitment of sellers. But what are we talking here? Let's see. We're talking talking 8 pips off the 50. And we're talking 3.4 off of that. And we have a redistribution right here. Let's just see. Where does that line up? I mean, that may be worth it. Yeah, it may be worth it. If we don't get, I still have like, what are we? It's 9 p.m. Eastern. So we've got 5 hours before Frankfurt opens, right? Depending on when we get there. Like if I go to bed tonight, say like midnight, and we've got room to get up there, potentially I'll set a limit on it. For me, it's worth it. Right? Because that's my line in the sand. And have we confirmed a reaccumulation? No, not yet, right? Like we could still be in that. I mean, even to this, you're already, just to this low right here, you're at a 1 to 22. To get to this low here, you're at 1 to 43. And you've got 1 drive, 2 drive, 3 drive, UTAD, boom, right there. The break, entry number 2, is the test of your UTAD. So you got entry number 1, entry number 2, and then hopefully we send this sucker down. That's kind of scenario 1. The other scenario would be, we could potentially be You know, if this kind of makes one push down like this and then the up, you've got your 1 drive, 2 drive, 3 UTAD, and then send this down like this, something along that lines. So I'm still bearish on this, right? Nothing about AU has caused me not to be bearish. You know, can we come a little higher? Yeah, I mean, the 80% is still here, right? We could still come into that area. So it's just a matter of, we need to see that weakness. And right now, I don't see any weakness on AU. You know, like all of this right here is just bullish order flow. So that's kind of how I'm going to anticipate AU. And you know, I'm going to be eager to jump into it, but I'm not going to, again, it's February. I'm not going to be aggressive to just prematurely jump in without confirmation. I can never get an entry in the UTAD or spring because of the, wait. I can never get an entry in the UTAD or spring before the BOS. It's hard for me to stay in the market. All right, so wait a minute. You can never get an entry in the UTAD or spring before the BOS. Yeah, but I'll tell you this, like very seldom do I take an entry like this, right? Where I'm taking it out of that. Typically, I'm going to wait for the UTAD. And then after it breaks, well, now I'm going to play out of this, right? So I'm going to take an entry like 50 or 80% here with the stop loss above here. The reason I'll play this as opposed to putting a limit to try to catch the UTAD is sometimes that, you know, that UTAD entry might be 20 pips, right? Where if I just wait for the break, no longer am I taking a 20 pip. This entry here might only be a 4 pip stop loss because I know if we trade above this, the whole trade is done, right? And I guess the question, when the spring or UTAD is forming, you can never find the entry. Yeah, just wait for the break of structure. That's what I do. I don't try. I mean, unless it gives me, unless like I'm on like like a 1 hour time frame and we're getting a distribution and then I get a micro up in here. If it's the 4th drive, yeah, game on. I'll take a micro out of the spring or UTAD, but typically I'm just going to wait for the break of structure, you know? And I guess the question, so it's hard for you to stay in the market. Is that because the trade's hitting stop loss or because like emotionally it's hard for you to stay in the market? Yeah, so that's on AU. I'm still looking for sells all day long. Ideally, if we come, this is my line in the sand, right? This is lower time frame. You know, if we come past that, then yeah, this is going to get demoted secondary list, right? So CADCHF, let's talk about CADCHF. With SC areas, say UTAD breaks the highest point of the SC, does the, wait. So if the UTAD breaks the highest point of the slingshot, does that invalidate supply? So yes and no. Always look bigger picture, right? Because, so let's just say hypothetically, we have structure, UTAD, distro, boom, right? So slingshot, extreme, right? So if price, right? If price creates a distro here, but the UTAD trades above here, in theory, yes, right? We've invalidated supply. But just always look to see what did it really do? Because if you measure this move and 50% of that move is right here, right? Which has happened before. You know, just always look bigger picture, zoom out. You know, yeah, you might have invalidated the slingshot on the 5 minute, but did you come into maybe like 50% of the 4 hour candle, right? And if that's the case, then you're like, oh, light bulb, that's what they mitigated, you know. And if that's the case, now I can jump into, if my slingshot here gets invalidated, boom, by that UTAD, right? And we get this, yeah, I'm taking that entry right there. As long as we're in a bearish market, I don't care about the order flow necessarily. I just care about, did supply come into the market? If supply came into the market, yeah, 100%. So, yeah. So if distro's confirmed, again, if you're in a bearish market and, and there's so many scenarios that would be in play with that, right? Here's the easiest answer, right? If it's an order flow slingshot, who cares, right? Because if you're playing order flow, all you care about is presence of supply coming into the market. What's the evidence? The distro. Who cares if it invalidates the slingshot, as long as you are still in the bearish order flow leg. Now, if you come into, say, an intraday slingshot and it invalidates that, and you've got about 75 pips to go to get into the extreme of the accumulation that caused the intraday break, then I would start to question the intent of what that market is doing, right? So if that makes sense, all right, let me catch up here. Would you agree that if you understand market structure and don't fall into that noise within the legs, makes trading much easier to get a better? Yes, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Tune out the noise, man. There's a reason. I know people joke about it, man, but there's a reason that I created this right here. There's a reason I created that. Tune out the noise. Get the noise out of the picture, and trading becomes so much more simpler, right? Get the noise out of there. Okay. So CADCHF. Let's talk about CADCHF. So CADCHF. If you guys have been on these Tuesday streams with me before, we've been talking about sells on CADCHF, man, since right here, since here. We've been talking about it since May of last year. We've been selling CADCHF, right? And I'll be honest, like I haven't caught a lot of sells on it. I've been saying I want to sell it. I just haven't worked in. The only sell that I've been able to get into was this one here, right? This one out of here. After that, it's just been, like if there was a long or like an old movie, with the really sad song in the background of, maybe someone leaving or going off to war or something like that, or, saying goodbye. That was me. That's me in CADCHF so many times, right? Like this one right here, this entry last week, I thought for sure once we broke, man, I set that limit, and yep, there she goes all the way down, never came back, never even turned around to wave goodbye, man. Nothing. So it is what it is. I am looking for sells, right? I'm looking for sells. The damn thing just doesn't want to give me the sells, man. So we know that bigger picture, right? Because we got to zoom out. We know that we have ultimately done this, right? We are stuck between order flow on the intraday time frame, right? Because technically we are in this leg right here, right? We're in this leg right here. So until we make this low, we don't make a new intraday order flow leg. All right. But we can see we're in a bearish market, right? And we can see that we are making those lows, right? So we know that this is maintaining this order flow. And we know that this is a distribution, right? This is the old head and shoulders, right? This is our type 5. And we know that we got a redistribution of failed accumulation here. So easy is I'm playing, my first point of interest has to be the slingshot, right? My second point of interest has to be the manipulation. So this right here is focal point number 1. And ideally that right there is still game on for me. Can we come into Frankfurt price action right here and turn around? We can, right? You can see my alerts sitting up here. I just want to see what we do when we get up there. If tomorrow I wake up and we're here and we're distributing, yeah, I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a shot. But ideally I'm still looking for the sell on CADCHF. I want the sell. I like the sell on it. It's not too crazy. Oh geez. Oh, for the love. Hold on. That yapping dog, bro. That yapping dog. All right. So here's your distro, right? I mean, it's no brainer. Just go to your 1 minute. You'll see your manipulation, right? That's what I've got marked out. You know, it's a 2.8 pip off the 80%. And, you know, it's probably like a 5.5 pip, 7 pip off the 50%. So this is where I'd be looking for price to come back into. This is this area, because we never manipulated out of that, you know, out of this UTAD. All right. So that's CADCHF. Hopefully that makes sense. Oh, these yapping dogs. One of these days I'm going to soundproof this room, man. Okay. Any questions on CADCHF? Does it make sense? You know, there's really not a lot of, you know, you can just see price just walking itself down, just distribution after distribution, you know, and ideally, you know, my first targets are going to be to make a new low here. But ideally, I really want to just send this down to, you know, to here. I mean, this is where I was expecting us to make potentially a hedge buy. But I mean, here, let me hide the drawings, you know, and you can just see this super clean. You know, we had the distro here. We played into the distro. We then distributed, made a low, distributed, made a low, distributed, you know, didn't make a low, but now we're in the process of showing more distribution to send this thing down. So, you know, when you look at this, when you look at a market, always ask yourself a couple of questions. The first is, who's in control, buyers or sellers? And, you know, if in this market, there should be nothing but sellers when you think about it, right? This is all just straight up sellers. You know, we know supply is controlling from here. We know supply is controlling from here. We know supply is controlling from here. You could see the redistro. You could see this as a massive accumulation that is ultimately going to get taken out, right? Because if this was a mitigation of anything, this should have shot up, and we're not getting that. Instead, we're getting the continuation to the downside. All right. So that's CADCHF. Alrighty. CADJ, I'm really not looking too much on. Pound CHF. So Pound CHF is actually something much like CADCHF, where you know, we're seeing that continuation to the downside, right? And I was actually looking pretty nice for a potential sell on Pound CHF, right? So ideally, and you can see, like, I'm still ultimately waiting for us to come back up here, right? But let's focus on what happened here. So we know that price invalidated some demand when we came here and did that, right? Price invalidated demand when we did that. And because price invalidated demand, I got to look at, well, what happened in here, right? So when we look at what happened in here and we go 1 minute, all right. So can everybody see the distribution, right? Without a doubt, this is your manipulation, right? And we also have another distribution. Geez, we also have another distribution that occurs in here. So if I measure out from here to here, right? If I measure that out, we can see that this is the 80% right here. This is 80%. Okay. So if I mark this as 80%, and I mark this as 50%, now let's look at where price ended up coming up to, right? Where did price come up to? So price distributed out of the 80%, right? So this distribution, and just to kind of give you an idea, like what we saw here, hold on. There we go. All right, so that distribution leads to this break of the reaccumulation. And then price comes in and distributes out of that extreme of the 80%. And then what do? And then we start to show bearish order flow, right? We have the distro, we have a redistro, that accumulation. So what did I want to see? I wanted to see, do we get a distribution here? Right? Do we get a distribution here? And I'll be honest, this price action here just tells me that nobody really cares about pound CHF right now. Ideally, I want to see, do we come up into this price action here? And I want to see a distribution to send this down, right? Just much like CADCHF, I want to see if that can get down as well. How do I train my patience while I'm in a trade if I know that the trade is going to leave in a few days? All right. All right. Maybe I'm not understanding that. So how do I train my patience? So I could tell you this, like while I'm in a trade, it's a very simple thing to be in the trade. Anybody could find the entry, right? In a trade, there's only two absolutes, right? Price will either, one, hit your stop loss, or two, move to where I can go to break even or reduce risk, right? And then if I'm here, if I'm at break even or reduce risk, now it's just a matter of where am I going to partial out? Where do I take my partials? The easiest thing to do in a trade is hit stop loss. Right? The easiest thing to do in a trade is hit stop loss, because that's it. You got to do nothing else with it. It's done. You know, that's honestly why I risk so little. And that's why I like to have tight entries, because, you know, in this case here, right? Let's just say hypothetically, I'm going to take a buy out of this accumulation. If price trades below here, that's it. This trade is done. There's no reason to look for another buy out of this. Right? So I know that my stop loss has to be here. And I know that if I caught this entry out of the 50% of this, and we've done that, right? Now I know that, boom, I'm reducing my risk, and I'm going to pay myself, when we get up here, I'm going to pay myself the risk. So, yeah. But did that accumulation not mitigate out of demand to the left? Kind of feels like a potential reaccumulation. So let's see, bro. Let's see. So did this, you talking about this right here? So the question is, what did this do? What did that do, Kevin? For me, it was just the reason to get price up to there, right? I mean, I'm with you. Like, if this ends up reaccumulation, if this ends up reaccumulating, you know, what would the buy opportunity be? Well, the buy opportunity would be out of here, right? Or out of whatever, you know, if this is the cause of it. Yeah. But, you know, this could have been, you know, am I setting a limit out of this? No, right? But if we get a distribution in here, right, why wouldn't I take it? So, yeah. So from your journals, Asian session schematics are invalid, correct? Not that they're invalid. I just don't trade them. Yeah. I'm not going to trade an Asian session entry. I will not take an entry out of Asian session. So yeah, I guess. So what do you mean by an Asian session schematic? Yeah. So, and again, this is me personally, right? I mean, I'm sure there's people out there that trade Asian session and are very profitable with it. I can just tell you that you will not see me take an entry out of Asian price action. And it's because my journal tells me that when my entry is during Asian session, I have a very good likelihood with a high percentage of confirmation that I will probably lose the trade. So I don't do it. All right. Yeah. So, but this is pound CHF. All right. The other one that I wanted to look at, I know US dollar Swiss franc, right, was another one that we were looking at. And again, same concept, right? We're in a bullish market, and Tokyo or Sydney. Yeah. I'm not taking it. So my entry is not, my entry cannot happen before 2 a.m. Eastern, if that makes sense. So I cannot take an entry prior to 2 a.m. It has to happen in either Frankfurt session, London session, or New York. And I typically won't take it. I personally won't take an entry past 2 p.m. Eastern, maybe 3 p.m. Eastern sometimes. So it depends if it's a buy or a sell. Yeah. But like I said, I mean, back test it and journal it. Tabulate your own data. If you find that your entries in Asian session are profitable, then take them. I can just tell you that me personally, I don't take it. I will not take an entry during Asian price action. It won't happen. Okay. So US dollar, Swiss franc, right? And you can see by all this colorful stuff over here that I'm in a bunch of flipping trades on US dollar, Swiss franc. I'm still holding buys out of here. Bigger picture though, right? We know that we are here, right? We know we're here. All right. So what do I want to see? I wanted to see an accumulation in this reaccumulation, right? This shakeout. I wanted to see us come in and give me a reaccumulation there. So I was waiting, and we actually got some decent price action in the last 48 hours. Can I please record my next New York session and upload it to Discord? Yeah, no, that's not going to happen though. Yeah. Yeah. Now, because there's stuff in there that are with like people in my group that's not that I don't like to put out there. So yeah. All right, man, have a good one. You got it. See you, man. Have a good one. Okay, so do we have some decent price action? And here's kind of what I was looking at, right? For me, we broke structure. We actually broke structure where, we did not break structure. Are you kidding me? We didn't do it today? All right, well, wow. Hold on a minute. Did we break or did we not? All right, that's going to be a tough one. So not to trade when you're tired and not mentally focused. Okay, so I agree with it to an extent, right? Like all right, so and I'll say this, right? Would you, if you were a butcher, right, and you're cutting meat, do you want to be a butcher and go through a bunch of slabs of meat when you're tired and exhausted and not focused? No, you're going to hurt yourself, right? Would you want to be an airline pilot flying if you're tired, and you're exhausted and you're on little sleep? So, and I take trading the same way. You want to have mental focus. You want to have a very, very focused atmosphere, right? Like a lot of distraction is bad. I can tell you that, like my command center here, right? My office, I've set it up to where I can block off all of the shenanigans that happens with the rest of my world. I put my phone on, do not disturb. I've got Spotify going on. I might have over here on the back left, I might have on one of my TVs, maybe the business channel that's on mute with just the ticker going on. I make sure that I don't have distractions. I make sure that I'm focused because, it's not a, I'm not going to downplay or I'm not going to take anything away from somebody who's trading a small account. But, like, all right, so you screw up and you're trading a $200 account and you lost $2. Okay, it's not the end of the world, right? But now you're trading a larger account and you take 3 losses and those 3 losses account to $7,500, right? That now starts to play not only into your mindset and your psychology of, man, what am I doing wrong? But then you get into that like OODA loop and you just start spiraling down, and it's like I'm a big baseball player, right? I play baseball a lot. When you get into a slump, that's it, man. Like you couldn't hit the side of a barn, right? Because your mindset is just so far gone that you can't focus and you can't see what you're doing. So, I mean, I agree with that. You want to be mentally focused, right? Does that mean just because you have a busy schedule, you're not mentally focused? No. I mean, you just got to organize yourself. I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to compare, it's not apples to apples. It's not apples to oranges, right? I can just tell you that, for the most of you guys, especially the guys in the Discord that follow, like kind of what I'm doing, I'm always either traveling with my daughters for volleyball, or I'm out, for baseball practice, or I'm taking kids for school to this, or, I mean, there's a lot of outside things that I'm doing, but what I make sure to do, right? What I make sure to do is I make sure that on Thursdays and Fridays during New York session and London crossover, I'm at my command center, right? I don't schedule anything. I don't schedule doctor's appointments. I don't schedule nothing. My family knows that Thursdays and Fridays I'm unavailable. Okay. So, if you've got to set yourself office hours, set yourself office hours. I can also tell you that it's correct. Those of you guys in the chat here that have done this and it's worked, I mean, chime in on it, but I can tell you that preparation going into your week is probably the most important and influential thing that's going to set you up for a stress-less week. So what I mean by that is, like, I do my markups. I used to do my markups on Sundays, right? But now I do it Mondays because honestly, Sunday, I want the Sunday markets to kind of open. I want to see if anything changes my bias. I don't want to do double the work. But I already have, like I have the watch list I'm looking at. I have the game plan of how I'm going to work in positions, by Monday afternoon. And now it's just a matter of just sitting and waiting for price to come to my areas that I want to buy or sell out of. It is so much easier to do that, whether I'm in an airport, whether I'm at a baseball field, whether I'm at a volleyball tournament. And, those of you guys that have been following me for the last 2 years, right? I mean, how many of you have seen me do a Zoom call from the middle of a volleyball court with girls playing in the background, right? In between matches. So, I don't think that, you can't do it. Right. I mean, like I said, I was doing this working a full-time job. I have a luxury now where I don't have a full-time job and I don't have those commitments, but man, it's so imperative to do the prep work, to have, one thing I got from Zach McDonald, from IM a long time ago was, do your top downs on the first of every month, right? Your intraday and your higher time frame very seldomly change, but your lower time frame will. Well, I've got it now to where it probably takes me about an hour to go through every pair to update my top down. And then what do? I update it in my notes app. And if I need to make a change on my whiteboard, I'll make a change on my whiteboard, So, but yeah, just keep that up to date, and understand, that organization is so important. Organizing how you're trading and what you're going to be trading and the game plan, like I don't just wake up and see a 5-minute accumulation. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to buy that. No, I mean, if it's not in the point of interest that I've already done the thought or already have done the workup for and have done the risk assessment on it, I'm not going to trade it. And I do that not when I'm trying to invoke an emotional response while I'm actively trading and, oh my God, the market's moving. I do that over the weekend, or I do that on a Monday morning when I have no desire to get into any kind of trades and I don't care what's going on. All I'm doing is my markups. It's so much easier to mark up your charts and have that game plan set. All right. Any books or videos to help with risk management? I'll be honest, I don't know of any. I mean, I know my risk management just comes from learning it, Okay. Yeah, I really don't know. I really don't. I mean, I'll tell you this, if you want a good video on risk management, Mark Douglas's How to Think Like a Professional Trader, the 4-part series on YouTube. That's probably the best thing you'll get out of risk management. And then from there, it's understanding risk management, your risk assessment, and then your trade management. Okay. So would you say COT reports data is good for bias with technical analysis? Have you looked at a COT report? Let me ask you, have you looked at COT reports? And if you've looked at COT reports, what have you extrapolated from that COT report? And while I kind of give you like the opportunity to talk about it, I'll go through USDJPY real quick. But yeah, give me your thoughts. Like, what do you get from that COT report to help? Okay, so with USDJPY, right? USDJPY is pretty simple. It is delayed data. Yes. Okay. It's Friday. Yes. So in theory, what does the COT report give you? And for those of you that have no idea what the heck we're talking about, COT reports, it's the commitment of traders data that's released, right? It's a delayed report, meaning it's not real time. You're typically it's weeks old data that you're going to be receiving. So in a case like this, right, let's say USDJPY, right? If I wanted to see what the COT report is telling me on USDJPY, all I got to do is look at the chart. And if I see an accumulation, right, let's look at this right here, right? So I don't need to look at next week. I don't need to look to next week and see the COT report's going to tell me that institutions came into the market and bought this, because I could see the accumulation and I could see the reaction that came from it. So for me to look next week in March to read about the COT data that came in here, I know institutions bought in there. I can see the volume change. I can see the manipulation. I can see the market cycle. The only entity that's going to create a market cycle is an institution, right? Me and you putting in our 10, 12, 15 lots on USDJPY ain't going to create a market cycle. All right. So that's how I kind of look at it. All right, hold on, bear with me. Okay. Yeah, so hopefully that makes sense. On USDJPY, right? On USDJPY. So this is what I'm looking for USDJPY. All right. I'm bullish on USDJPY. I wanted us to come into here, right? I wanted us to come into this into this area right here. Well, we did. We didn't come deep enough like I wanted it to, right? But it is what it is. And what I wanted to see us do, right? And you could see what did price give us here, right? Price gave us during New York session an accumulation, all right? Here is your type 1 accumulation. All right. And if I measure our spring right here, right? Here's 80% of the spring. And what did price do after that? Isn't it like $1,000 to move a pip? No, it's way more than $1,000. It's way on EU, it takes $1 million to move 1 pip. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I take that back. On EU, it takes $1 billion, billion with a B, to move 1 pip. Yeah. EU is the most voluminous currency traded in the Forex market. All right. So what do we have here, right? We have, yep. You got it. 1 billion, man. There you go. Yep. So we have our accumulation. Right? We have our clean accumulation. We have a distribution, right? With manipulation during Asian. And then what do we get? We get the 80% of the test. So here's your spring. This is your test. And then, of course, what am I looking for? I'm looking for mitigation of our test for an LPS entry, right? That's essentially what I'm looking to play. All right. So, you know, ideally the area I'm looking at is I've measured my Frankfurt move, and, you know, 50% is kind of what I'm looking at. So I've got an alert here. If we can get down here, this is where I'm going to be looking for the buy. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. If we can get down here. So this is what it's looking like, right? Now, you know, when it came to the order flow structure, right? We know that this is the redistribution, right? We know that this right here is our redistribution, and we have some manipulation here from a broker. So the question I had, and I went into the volume profile to see where the orders were. And this is the issue. This is, you know, obviously I did this before New York really took off, but you can see we have really no orders. And, you know, this is one of those things where, okay, I know that we have no orders here, right? There is one contract that is there. You know, is that enough for me to say that that's where structure or where the order flow high is? You know, I don't know. So, you know, I know that there's orders here, right, in this wick. So because I know that there's orders there, what am I going to do? I'm just going to wait. Instead of setting a limit, I'm going to have to wait for a schematic, right? So that's why I've got this alert sitting right here. When that alert goes off, then I'll look for my schematic, you know? So something down here is where I'm going to be waiting, right? Frankfurt's from midnight New York. Wait. Frankfurt from midnight New York. Bro, I have no idea what that means. Frankfurt's from midnight New York. Are you asking, is Frankfurt at midnight? I don't know. I know there's like a 10-second delay, so I'll just wait for you. All right, so this is what I'm waiting for USDJPY, right? I'm waiting on USDJPY here, and we'll see. We'll see what she does. But I am looking for the buys, and this thing really, man, this thing really moved. What are we? I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know. What would this have been? This session. What do you mean? What is this session though? Yeah, it's Frankfurt session. Yeah. It's the Frankfurt Open. That'd be a nice little 1 to 63. Sorry, are you asking what time does the Frankfurt session start? If you are, I mean, I don't know, just Google it. For me, it's 2 a.m. Eastern. It's an hour before London. So whatever London session is for you, whatever time that is, it's an hour before London opens. It's Frankfurt. Yeah. That would have been a nice little 1 to 63. All right. So that's USDJPY, right? That's what I'm looking at for USDJPY. I know EURUSD, right? Somebody asked EURUSD, and I think it's the last currency one I'll do. I'll look at a little crypto too. So I was looking, what was I looking at for this? I know I got an alert there. What do I got an alert for? So I was looking, okay. So because of this break, I got you. I know what I'm cooking now. All right. So because of this break, right, here's the 80% of it. I want to see an accumulation here, right? I want to see an accumulation on EA somewhere in here, because what are we ultimately seeing, right? We saw the presence of buyers coming into the market here. We saw the mitigation, right? We saw the mitigation. And then ultimately this was the cause of that break, which took out this high. So this is ultimately, I'm going to be looking for a buy out of EA here if we do something like that, right? So I do, EA wasn't on my list. One of the guys in the group showed me EA, and I thought, all right, you know, it looks actually pretty decent. So I do like EA from there. Okay. I do like EA from there. All right. So that's pretty much all the currencies I'm going to be looking at. And then, like I said, indices, you know, I would say, I guess I'm more of a scalper on the indices. You know, I am looking for quicker moves, but man, do they give some really good entries. And I would say, you know, I'm definitely looking for sells, right? I'm looking for sells, but just keep in mind where we are on these indices, right? So, you know, the main focal points are this, right? You can see that we have not yet taken this out. So any sell that I get, my target is to this low. Same thing on SPX. And then when that happens, we know that this is now our new structure point, right? So could we potentially come back into here or into here? Absolutely, right? Absolutely. So, you know, I've got, you can see on the markup, I've got this just waiting. And same thing with SPX. You know, if we can get up there, great. I'm looking at this distribution right here, that distribution right there. So, and of course, if we make a new low, right? If we make a new low, I'll be looking, my first point of interest is to mitigate out of the price action that we did today during power hour, right? When I come over here, I don't know what TradingView is doing, but it's doing something stupid. Yeah. If we now make a new low, right, I'll be looking to trade. I'll be looking to trade something ultimately out of here, right? So we'll see what this ends up doing. You know, I typically don't even look at indices until, you know, probably 9 a.m. Eastern. My wife, man, she cracks me up. All right, hold on. Bear with me 1 second. Okay. Yeah. When you say presence of buyers or sellers in the simply, yep. Yeah. But it's got to be, it's a meaningful accumulation or distro, right? It's not just a random accumulation in no man's land. It's got to be in the right spot. Does the news we have going on in the world, would you say it's fueling the drop for indices that we're currently seeing? Yeah, it's the catalyst for it, right? But I think we were going to see the drop. Yeah, you can trade indices on TPT. The only thing you can't trade on TPT is oil. It's the catalyst for it, but we were going to drop anyway, right? If you look at this chart, right? Look at this chart that I posted back. When did I post this? I posted this back October 25th, 2021. And this is what we were setting up as, right? So what did I want to see? I wanted to see just us break structure, right? Break structure. And then this is my target, right? On US. I wanted to get down to like the 28,000 mark on US 30. But the distribution was presenting itself. The distribution had started in May 2021, and we see that. And then fast forward to where we're at today. Well, look what we just did, right? We never broke this low, right? But we made a UTAD. So just move this over. This is your UTAD. This is your up thrust. This is a secondary test. And what do we just do? We broke structure here. And now we're making our way down, you know? So sure, the news is just the catalyst, but we were going to do that no matter what. We're just doing it at a faster, you know, pace. I have a demo on TPT and cannot find US 30, SPX, or NASDAQ. So I'm almost positive. Hold on. I'm almost positive. Let me look. I'll tell you right now. So US 30 is USA 30. SPX is SPX 500. And NASDAQ is NAS 100. Yeah. It's there. On TPT, yeah, it's there. Yeah, you may have to look under, I think, man, I haven't looked in a long time. Hold on. Yeah, you may have to look under like CFD on it or something like that, but yeah, it's there. It's there. It's USA 30, SPX 500, and then NAS 100. So, okay. So that's obviously what I'm going to be looking at, right? I'm going to be looking for shorts, see if I can continue those shorting attempts. I'm also, let's see. Okay. I'm also going to be, let's see, what else? We looked at indices. We looked at all right, so let's look at some crypto. I know somebody wanted to look at BTC, right? So what is BTC doing? BTC is actually, let's see, what is BTC doing? All right, yeah, BTC is like a no man's land right now. So do I still think we're going to get one more dump? Yeah, I think we do. I think we come closer into that 30,000 mark. But if you look at it, we had the accumulation, we had a reaccumulation, and then we have a distro. And that distro did trade above here, right? So can we not see an accumulation here or in here? Yeah, absolutely we can. And technically, right, our order flow on lower time frame is still being maintained right here, right? Because our order flow went from here to here to here to here, and now it's here. So yeah, I mean, we could see this, you know. I laugh because like I see all these people like on YouTube and stuff just going crazy about yeah, maybe because you're using it. No, that's all I use is MT5. Yeah, that's all I use on MT5. Yep. It's currently hitting stop losses. It is. I mean, I don't know what people are, you know, I talked about this, right? Like I'm not ready to call the bull run until we do this, right? Because this was the influential one. This is the actual leg, right? This is all just like lower time frame order flow and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I'm stacking up on crypto, you know. I'm buying, I mean, you can see, look, Adam's going off right now. I'm buying crypto just because, again, it's not a 5-week plan for me. It's a 5-year plan, you know. If I had the ability, you know, because I've only been trading for almost 5 years. So we're in 2022. If I was able to buy BTC back in 2017, you're damn right I would have. You know what I mean? Absolutely, I would have. And yeah, I mean, I'm pretty, yeah. Buy the dip, yeah, I love it. I mean, it's easy to be an Instagram warrior, man. You're silent when the market's, listen, when the market's red over here, when the market's red, you're silent on Instagram. And when it's green, man, you're throwing up the Lambos and how you have different color shoes and, you know, how you made $1 billion, you know, I don't know. Who knows, man? It's ridiculous. Yeah, I you know what, dude? So a couple of things on the crypto side, right? Like if you're not following the Reddit pages, if you're not in the Discords for these particular projects, I think you're like behind the 8 ball, right? I will tell you this, that when the markets are taking dumps like this is when I really start to diversify my portfolio, right? So not only do I own the coins, not only do I stake my coins, right? Because I'm making those residuals from staking, but then I'm, you know, most of you guys know I mine coins, right? I GPU mine them. I proof of stake mine them. I run nodes, right? I run validator nodes. You know, I talked about Flux, right? Flux is, I mean, if you haven't done your work on Flux, man, you really need to start researching Flux, because Flux is the vehicle that is going to bring Web 3.0 to us, right? And, you know, I did a video, it's on my YouTube, you know, give it a look if you're interested in running the Flux nodes. It's probably going to be your best buy-in right now. It's only going to cost 1,000 Flux, and you're going to be a validator node, you know. And dude, I don't even know when I said this. I said it was over the summer, right? Back when I was looking at Flux back in, you know, July, August, when it was around 20 cents, you know, that's when I started mining this, and I've mined over 12,000 Flux coins now. So I'm looking to run a Flux. You know, I've got my Raspberry Pi. I actually got it in today. I was putting in, you know, the Flux operating system, and I'm just waiting for March 1st, because March 1st is when all of this is going to happen. Yeah, March 1st is when all of this is going to happen. Show millions of profits with a foreign exchange. Yeah. How does a beginner set up a crypto wallet? Which wallet are you looking to do? Yeah, I mean, I can tell you, you know, the easiest one is MetaMask, right? You you know, here's what you want to research. If you're new to crypto, you want to research MetaMask wallet. You want to get yourself a ledger, a Nano X, right? Don't worry about an S, it's stupid. MetaMask, see the bottom of my screen. Okay. But yeah, so I'm going to tell you the wallets I have. I have a Zelcore wallet down here, right? For Raptorium, for Flux, and for Firo, right? I have an Ion wallet. I have an XEQ wallet for, I have a CCX wallet, which is a conceal wallet. I have Exodus wallet, which these are all off-chain wallets. I have a TON wallet. I have an Alephium wallet, and I'm just kind of going through everything I have here. I have my Ledger Live. I have a Rio. And then what do I have up here? So then I have here, I have a Ergo wallet with my MetaMask. And then I have a CFX, which is a Conflux wallet. So those are all the crypto wallets I have, you know, and then everything I run, you know, everything has an API data that I run through a coin tracking software that I know where all my stuff is, you know, so where you want to start, MetaMask, go on Google or go on YouTube, search how to set up a MetaMask wallet, right? Some of the big YouTubers that I follow for crypto, Voscoin is one, right? He's a pretty big one that I would follow. Another one that I would put in there is, let's see. Well, I just say with Voscoin, because Voscoin does a lot, man. I do like Voscoin, so I just want to be able to buy coins. Yeah, but what coins are you going to buy? That's the problem. You know, it all depends. All those wallets are for different coins that I own, because there's not one-stop shop, right? Your MetaMask, right? MetaMask is essentially everything that's going to have your ERC20, your Avalanche, your Binance chain, and what's the other? Oh, and then Polygon, right? Matic. So if it's on those entities, you can do it. But if it's not, like, what if you have Ravencoin, right? Ravencoin, I got to keep on my Exodus wallet, right? What if I have, what if I have, like I said, Flux, right? Flux only goes on a Zelcore wallet, right? So you want to be able to learn like where all these things go. But yeah, just speaking about, and here you go, here's your Zelcore wallet, right? But, speaking about, yeah, I mean, Flux is really going to go, man. I think, pre-search, right? I did a video on pre-search. You can run a pre-search node through your Flux node. So you could set up a Flux node, and then they charge you one Flux, which is right now Flux is $30. They're going to charge you one Flux a month, $30 a month to run your Flux node. But if you come over here to launch the node, it's going to talk about all of the, you can see right now it's 10,000 Flux with these requirements, right? Starting March 1st, goes down to 1,000 Flux. Now the requirements increase. You need 8 gigs of RAM. You need a 2-core with 4 threads, right? Which is pretty much any basic CPU. But the key is the 8 gigs of RAM, and you need a 220 gig by SSD or an M2 NVMe, right? So, and you're going to get 7.5% of every block reward. Well, every block reward is 66 Flux. So you're going to get 7.5% when your number's called in that row. You're going to get that Flux sent to you as a validator node. So yeah, there we go. So I would just, yeah, there's so many projects out there on the crypto side, and especially when you get a dip, I mean, this is when you want to do it. I did that video. I did that video on the Vapor nodes, right? And just to kind of give you guys a little glimpse, I actually bought another Vapor node today. So I have 3. I have 2 on this account, I think. It's paying out 1%, and it's costing you, what is it, like 30? Hold on, let me see what account is this. It's costing you $33. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. So I have 2 nodes now, and you can see in the last 10 hours, I put 1,100 VPND in, and I've already made 4.7 in 10 hours. So I'm getting 1% a day. This one here, I'm getting 1.2%. And every time I compound it, they're going to give me 25% on top of it. So for me, this is simple. Running these nodes is a piece of cake. And then when I get to the point where I am at break even. So my original investment here was 1,800. My original investment here was 1,000. Right. So when I get to 2,800, I'm going to cash out my 2,800 VPND, right? Swap it for AVAX and let it just sit in my Avalanche wallet. And then I'll just let this thing run, and it's risk free at that point, So yeah. Did you go over BTC? Yeah, I went over BTC already. Yeah. I'm still bullish. I mean, there's really nothing to do with it yet. So Ethereum's a little different. Ethereum, I think, is coming lower, and I'm happy for Ethereum. I mined the crap out of Ethereum, and I want this thing to really just drop, because I want, you could see the accumulation right here, but the problem is we never broke anything, right? We never took this right here. So because we never took this right here, this is done. This is not going to hold anything. So what I'm going to be looking for is I'm going to be seeing, this is my target right here. I want us to come in that. So about the 2,000 mark is what I want to see. So 2,000 mark, maybe like 19 and change, but like I'm not selling any of my Ethereum, right? I make 0.14 Ethereum. I mine 0.134 Ethereum every week, right? Every week is what I make on my two of my rigs. So, I'm perfectly fine. If this continues to go, that means that this number goes higher. It means I might get, 0.18 Ethereum a week, because more and more miners stop mining because they think that this is, they think that this is going to go to like $5 or something, but whatever. I'm happy. I'm happy with what I'm seeing on it. I just want it to continue lower. So just got your 1.2 today. Good, man. Yeah. So I'll tell you this, it's going to continue, right? That's called your like diamond hand bonus. It increases. So as long as you don't cash out, if you're just reinvesting it, the next bump, I think, is like 1.4%. And it goes, I want to say it goes all the way up to like up to either, I think I saw in their Discord that they max it out at 10%, but dude, 10% a day is stupid. That is seriously stupid. And right now, like I said, the price, if you go over to it right now, it's like $34 to do another node, right? A minimum node, because you need 1,000 VPND. When Jake first told me about VPND, it was 15,000 is what the requirement was. So they reduced it to 1,000. All right, sounds good. I'll do it. For $34, think about it, $34, making 1% a day, right? My ROI is 34 days. In 34 days on this new node, I can cash that sucker out and I'm risk free. And that's honestly, that's what you want to look at, right? Is how can you take the risk away from your investment that you're looking at? So yeah. I'll be doing a video, I don't know, sometime this week when I get a second. I'm going to do it on lava nodes, because lava nodes is something I've been tracking since probably like the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I think that's going to be something that's also going to pop. It's just like when I got into strong last summer, when it was like, I don't know, $100, and that thing shot up to $1,300. I was making, you needed 10 strong, so you needed about $1,000 to buy in. But when it was at $1,100, 10 strong, that's a 6-figure, investment. So yeah, I compound every day until I get to 499 node, and for the extra. Yeah. So Sean, here's my suggestion though. Don't compound every day, because what you're doing is every time you compound, did you notice like you have to pay your AVAX tax, right? You have to pay whatever it is. Like in AVAX, you have to pay like 0.006 AVAX or something. So what I've been doing, and what I'm going to do, is you're going to get 25% bump, right? That 25% bump, right? Whether you do it when it's 1, right? Because if you do 1 VPND every day, you're going to get 0.25 added in. right? But if you wait and do it, say like every week, or if you do it like every 2 weeks, you're still going to get the same 25%. Yeah, you're missing out on a little peanuts, but you're saving, because like I went to go do the swap this morning, and I actually had to wait a couple hours because the average was like 0.005, but it jumped up to like 0. I think it was like 106 AVAX at one point. So I'm not wasting money. I'm just trying to compound peanuts. So I'm going to personally do it like every week or every 2 weeks is when I'm going to do it. But yeah, when you get to 499, then it drops to the 15%. So that's kind of why I did a second node and not just added on to the original node. Because if you say you have 3 nodes, right? Say you have 3 nodes that, oh, come on, there we go. 3 nodes that are at, say, 2,000, right? So you have or you can have one that has 6,000. Well, you're getting 25% on all 3 of these, or you're only getting 15% on this. So it makes sense just to keep adding more nodes, you know? So that's how I'm kind of going to play it. All right. Anybody else have any other last minute questions? Because if not, I know we've been on here for like 3 hours. But yeah, I may do like a crypto session on Saturday. My wife, my oldest daughter is going to be playing in Atlanta, big volleyball tournament. So depending on what her schedule is, because I want to watch it, I want to watch the stream of her play. Depending on when she's playing, I may do a stream on Saturday and kind of gear it just towards crypto, go over some like projects that I'm looking at, go over some mining stuff that I'm doing, going over some staking as well. You know, I don't know a lot of you guys if you stake like your Ethereum. I personally have no plans of selling my Ethereum, so I stake it. If you have a ledger, you know, I don't know if most people know, but I stake it on my ledger directly, right, through that Lido app. So, but yeah, we'll go through all that, man. You know, especially answer some questions for people that maybe not so versed in the crypto space. You know, and go over some of the projects that I'm personally looking at to get into. So, how many years in? Wait, let's see. You got it, bro. Yeah. Man, they're like $35 to get a node. You know, how many years in your trading journey did you start building your crypto portfolio? So I got into trading in 2018. And I really didn't start building my portfolio until March 2020. You know, like I bought Bitcoin, you know, but I used it for more of my trading stuff. You know, like, you know, when I took a withdrawal out of my personal trading account, you know, came in Bitcoin. What did I do? I sold the Bitcoin and I used it. What did I do in March 2020 when the big drop happened? I bought 5 Bitcoin at 3,600. I bought, you know, Ethereum. You could see I bought Ethereum in December 2020 for $558. You know, so I bought Cardano at like 6 pennies. And then obviously when we saw the boom, you know, I sold some of that and I just reinvested the earnings, you know, into the other crypto projects that I'm doing. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I would say it was definitely, I started late. I should have jumped into it a whole lot earlier. But I'm happy with it. You know, like my portfolio is even though it's down, I would say it's down almost like 50%, you know, from where it was in November. But you know, it's down. I've taken profits, you know, I have no risk in the game. You know, everything is completely risk-free. So I'm happy with that. You know, I'm happy with that. Yeah. All right. So any last minute questions? If not, like I said, I'm going to call it a night. I've actually got a couple of things I got to do with some crypto stuff that I've got to move some miners around and stuff like that, because I've been seeing some decent rewards on some of the things, and I've been solo mining some stuff. So, but yeah, if no one else has anything else, I'll call it a night. Like I said, I look for I'll probably post it on my like Instagram or something like that when I'm going to do my the session on Saturday, and then I'll just set it up like I did tonight so that you can see potentially like the reminder come up But yeah, if anything, I'll see everybody on. I just saw Snoop Dogg's doing a crypto session. I love it. You got it, man. Awesome. Thanks for hopping on, and I will catch everybody later. Have a great night.